Hey listener, how are you all? Today we will listen act as Negi's older brother. If you enjoy, then please like, share and do comments. 8-year-old Naruto watched the villagers pass him. It surprised him how seldom people ever looked up. He was currently hiding on a branch of a very large tree. The spot he sat in was covered perfectly so that someone who was looking at the spot he was in would only see leaves, but he could still see them perfectly. He watched as a group of angry villagers, some drunk, and others just following the crowd past the tree. A few even had weapons like pitchforks and metal rods. Naruto watched the mob with a frown. They're so unoriginal, he thought to himself. He knew who they were looking for and exactly why. They were searching for him. They were searching for him because he held the nine-tailed fox inside him. Naruto sighed as the mob cut the corner and disappeared from view. The villagers didn't seem to understand that he, Naruto Uzumaki, was not the nine-tailed fox Kyuubi, only its jailer, yet they always seemed to overlook this fact. Naruto sat in the tree watching as more villagers created mobs and even started to join together. They headed in the direction of the orphanage where Naruto lived. They won't find me there, Naruto said with a smile. He sat in the tree in silence. He had planned on staying there until the mobs had dispersed and the villagers had gone home. Sadly, he had forgotten to plan how long he would be up in the tree. Hours passed and Naruto was feeling the effect of not planning correctly. Food, I need food, Naruto thought with a groan as his stomach growled, for the umpteenth time. He watched as people partied and celebrated the day. He groaned as he watched kids and adults bite into the juicy flesh of grilled meat. He frowned as he watched people laugh and smile. He hated the happy atmosphere and despised the adults cheering their little kids as they cut up dolls of a nine-tailed fox. He glared at the adults who were laughing and getting drunk. His glare increased and the bottles in their hands shattered. Naruto gasped at the broken bottles in shock. Did I do that? He thought to himself, but before he could develop the thought any further, his stomach growled and brought him out of his shock. He needed food and his stomach demanded to have it. Nodding to himself, Naruto slowly looked around the street. It wasn't hard to find food, the street stands were everywhere. What was hard was finding a food stand that didn't have a lot of people. Out of the corner of his eye, Naruto spotted a mask stand. I need a disguise, he thought with a frown. With reflexes that one could describe as fox-like, Naruto jumped the branches of the tree and quickly slid down the tree into the shadows. He snuck through the shadows and reached the edge of the mask stand. He quietly listened to the voices coming from the stand. What about that mask? Yelled a kid. Oh, you have an eye for quality. This mask is said to be able to grant any one wish to the user, the clerk said as though he had practiced the speech 100 times. Naruto smirked as he heard the kids surrounding the stand all ooh and ah. That mask is ugly though, another female voice said. It has a fox's face, and my daddy said that foxes are bad animals. All the other kids nodded their heads in agreement. Naruto tisked at the ignorance. He slowly bent down and felt the ground. He felt a small rock and picked it up. Discreetly tossing it into the stand, he smirked when he heard the sound of masks shattering. My masks, yelled the clerk as he started spewing profanity. All the scared children back away from the cursing man. Naruto used the confusion to grab the nearest mask he could. He turned to run when something caught his wrist. He turned to see a white-haired ninja with a mask covering his face holding him. He turned to look at the crowd that was starting to gather. As most saw him, they glared and started to grab their kids. It's not nice to destroy people's property, the ninja said in a bored tone. Naruto looked at the mask in his hand and then to the man. What do you want? Naruto asked with a look of anger. He had been so close. He could have gotten the mask and escaped. He glared at the ninja who was simply standing there. Well, I think you should apologize and help the man with his stand, until you can repay him, the ninja said. Naruto was about to retort when the clerk beat him to it. No thank you, ninja-san. I don't want this thing. He looked at Naruto with disgust, to lay his filthy hands on my merchandise. Naruto looked around to find every adult watching them agreeing with the man as though he had just spoken a universal truth. Naruto looked down with a frown. The white-haired ninja frowned at the villagers. I hope you all die, he whispered. No one seemed to hear him except for the ninja, who tightened his grip on Naruto's wrist. I'll take care of the boy, he said as he pushed Naruto to walk. The crowd cheered as the two walked away. Naruto didn't look back. They obviously thought that the ninja would kill him. The two walked a good distance away from the festivities. Naruto slowly became confused. They stopped in a forest and the ninja turned to Naruto. "I saw how you tried to steal the mask." He pointed to Naruto's hand. "You have some impressive sneaking skills." If Naruto was expecting a compliment, his face didn't show it. Slowly a grin spread across his face. He sniffed and smirked. "Are you in the ninja academy?" the ninja asked. Naruto shook his head. This action surprised the ninja. "I don't feel like becoming a slave to the people who make my life miserable," Naruto said in a dark tone. The ninja openly raised an eyebrow. The kid really hated the Leaf Village and he had to fix that. "How about we make a deal?" he said. Naruto looked at the ninja confused. "I will teach you ninja techniques and you don't have to go to the academy." Naruto smiled, but the smile quickly faded. "What's the catch?" he asked. The ninja eyes smiled. "You have to swear on your life that you won't use anything I teach you against the Leaf Village and that you won't use your powers to harm the villagers." Naruto looked at the man as though he had grown a new head. To most people the deal was a win, but to Naruto it was the same as locking him up and throwing away the keys. "You know I hate the Leaf Village," Naruto whispered. The ninja reached into his equipment bag and pulled out an orange book. He looked at Naruto before opening the book. "Do you really think I would teach someone who would use their powers for—" He paused and went into a thinking pose, "unwise reasons? It's up to you to decide," he finished with a shrug. With that, he began to walk away. Naruto watched the ninja when a smirk appeared on his face. "Wait," he called out. The ninja stopped and turned. He closed his book. "I promise on my life that I will not use any of the things you teach me to harm the Leaf Village." Naruto finished with a serious face. The ninja smiled and beckoned Naruto to follow him. Naruto took a step forward, but froze when his stomach growled. He looked up at the ninja who had a raised eyebrow. "I guess we should go get you something to eat," the ninja said. Naruto was all too grateful when the two found a ramen stand and ordered their food, although the ninja learned a life lesson. Never offer to buy Uzumaki Naruto food, especially when he was starving. The two finished and were walking through a forest until they reached a small river clearing. The ninja walked to a tree stump and sat on it. "Since we're going to working with each other, let's introduce ourselves. I'll start. My name is Kakashi Hitaki. I like a lot of stuff, don't particularly hate anything. My hobbies aren't really any of your business and I have dreams." Naruto silently looked at Kakashi. He opened his mouth to say something, but closed it. A second passed and Naruto smirked. "My name is Naruto Uzumaki. I like a few things. I hate a lot of stuff. I have hobbies and dreams." Naruto finished with triumphant grin. Kakashi looked at the boy with a wide eye. He smiled and stood up. "Alright Naruto, from today on you're my student." Naruto looked at Kakashi with respect. He actually had someone who would teach him, after all these years of being alone. A small tear dropped down Naruto's eye. Kakashi saw this and frowned. "The Hokage will probably kill me for this," he thought. He walked up to Naruto and bent down on one knee. He put a hand on his shoulder. Naruto quickly wiped up the tears, and looked up at Kakashi. "Alright Naruto, in 1 year I will teach you my own original technique," Kakashi said. Naruto raised an eyebrow. "What's the technique?" he asked with a bit of excitement. Kakashi stepped back and raised both hands. "Watch my left hand carefully," Kakashi said. Naruto stepped back and watched. He gasped as he heard birds chirping. His gasp increased as lighting surrounded Kakashi's hand. The hand was soon completely covered by white lighting. Naruto stepped back as the chirping increased in volume and the tendrils of lighting flew everywhere. Kakashi cancelled the technique. "That was my first original technique, the Chidori," Kakashi said, answering Naruto's unasked question. Naruto nodded as a bead of sweat ran down his forehead. Excitement grew in as he conjured up images of him learning the technique. "When you learn that and train, you'll be able to increase the power and use this," Kakashi explained, raising his right hand. Naruto flew back as the air around Kakashi's hand crackled. Naruto heard lighting. He covered his eyes as a blinding blue light devoured Kakashi's hand. The light cleared and in Kakashi's right hand was blue condensed lighting. It was more condensed and silent. Naruto could only gasp at it. Kakashi stood up as charged at a tree. Naruto watched as Kakashi cut the tree in half. "So, what do you think?" Kakashi asked, walking back to the still Naruto. Naruto stood rooted on the spot. A smile slowly spread across his face. That jutsu is awesome, Naruto said in awe. Kakashi smiled and turned around. He began walking to the river. Time to start your training, he said with a smile. Naruto followed Kakashi when he suddenly stopped. He turned to Naruto. I almost forgot. Since it's your birthday, I'll teach you a jutsu that you'll need during our training. Naruto froze. He had never received anything for his birthday before, let alone being taught a jutsu. Tears of joy slowly slid down his chin. He made no attempt to wipe them off. Kakashi, seeing this, gave a sad smile. Let's begin, he said. Naruto spent the remainder of the night learning his first jutsu. By the time it was midnight, Naruto was covered in bruises and scratches, but as he fell asleep from weariness, he had to say, "Best birthday ever." 2 years later, Naruto walked through the streets of Konoha. Many people who saw him gave him a strange look, some even waved at him. Naruto ignored them though. He knew that the only reason that they weren't glaring at him was because he was wearing a mask and he had dyed his hair. The mask was the same mask he had stolen a year ago, a white fox mask that had a sinister smile. The only decorations on it were 3 red, vertical slash marks that stretched across the whole mask. His hair was now white with strands of black. He wore a simple white t-shirt with black pants. He also wore a white neck scarf that covered the bottom portion of his mask. Naruto reached the village gates and quickened his pace. He sat at the corner of the gate. He sat there for a few minutes until he felt a presence walking up to him. Standing up, he saw Kakashi Hitaki walking in his direction, reading an orange book. Naruto ran up to the Jonin. Although his face was covered, he was smiling. Over the past year, Naruto had come to look at Kakashi as the father he never had, and today was a big day. When Naruto reached him, Kakashi put the book up and gave an eye smile. He ruffled the boy's hair. Have you been waiting long? Kakashi asked. Naruto shook his head. Nah, I've been here for a couple of minutes. He answered. Anyway, let's go, Naruto said. Kakashi nodded and the two walked past the village gates. They traveled for 30 minutes until they reached a large canyon. Naruto smiled at the view as the wind flew past him. He turned to Kakashi, who was reading his orange book. Let's start already, Naruto nagged. Kakashi sighed and closed his book. Alright, after 2 whole years of training, I think you're ready to learn it, Kakashi said. Naruto eagerly nodded. He had been waiting 2 years for this day. Kakashi walked a good few feet away, to a giant boulder, and pointed to it. If you can shatter this boulder using the Chidori, I'll teach you the technique, Kakashi said, returning to his book. Naruto smiled underneath his mask as he nodded. He placed his right hand in front of him and began to concentrate. Though it looked as if Kakashi were reading his book, he was actually watching Naruto's every move. Naruto closed both eyes and began to feel the energy around him. The air around Naruto's outstretched started to crackle, chirping birds could be heard. In a flash of white light, Naruto's right hand was covered in white lighting. Chidori. 1,000 birds. Naruto yelled as he opened his eyes and bent down. The Chidori destroyed the ground as the tendrils of electricity collided with the earth. Naruto charged forward as the Chidori increased in power. The dirt flew in separate directions as the Chidori tore through the earth. He grunted as he went into tunnel vision. All he could see was the boulder. That was all that mattered. The chirping increased as Naruto slammed his Chidori into the boulder. His hand tore into the rock as if it were made of butter. A second passed and the boulder exploded. Naruto had to cover his eyes to block the flying debris. Kakashi walked up to Naruto and patted him on the head. You've gotten stronger. I guess a deal's a deal. I'll teach you the 8 gate openings, Kakashi said. Naruto's smile widened. He pumped his fist into the air and gave a triumphant yell. The two spent the remainder of the day training. They returned to the village close to midnight. Naruto stopped as he saw celebration lights. He clenched his fists. Kakashi put a hand on his shoulder. I almost forgot, Kakashi said with a smile. Happy birthday, he said, holding out a small box. Naruto slowly took the package with trembling hands. He unwrapped the wrapping and in his hand was a small metal box. He unlocked the box and gasped at what he saw. He pulled out a beautiful, silver chain. He examined it with a smile. The chain had 13 segments and each segment looked like a piece of a totem pole. Naruto looked up to Kakashi, who was smiling at his reaction. In an action that surprised Kakashi, Naruto ran up to him and hugged him. Kakashi let Naruto go and waved him goodbye. Naruto walked through the village with a smile on his face. Many of the villagers were still celebrating, and when they saw him they looked away, but he didn't care. He was truly happy, although he couldn't get rid of the nagging feeling in the back of his head that something bad was going to happen. His hand went to the chain that hung off his belt. He walked through and visited a few stands, before he saw a mask stand that brought back memories. It was the same mask stand that he had stolen, the exact same mask that he was currently wearing. He quickly tried to walk past the stand, but froze when the owner called him over. Not trying to draw attention, he slowly walked over to the man. The man had a smile as he inspected his mask. "That's a fine mask. I had one just like it, until the 9." The owner stopped. Naruto raised an eyebrow. The man's smile slowly faded and Naruto frowned as the man's face turned serious. He slowly started to back away when the man began to yell at him. You're that 9-tailed brat. You stole my mask," the man yelled as he pointed to Naruto. The festivities seemed to pause. People glared at Naruto, some grabbed their kids. Naruto tried to back away when he bumped into a big man. The mask stand owner started calling him a thief. The villagers started to surround him. Naruto would have attacked them, but he stopped himself as he remembered his promise to Kakashi. One of the strong villagers threw a punch at Naruto, but he easily caught the punch and jumped over the tall man. He kicked off the man's head and flipped over some villagers. "The fox is attacking us," a village woman yelled. Naruto glared at the woman. Didn't she just see what had happened? Ninjas started to appear, some tried to break up the commotion and Naruto sighed. The ninja would try to calm the situation down. He tried to run away when he felt multiple shuriken pierce his back. Ignoring the pain, he slowly turned to see the ninja who had thrown the shuriken. Stand a few feet behind him was a blue-haired ninja. Naruto recognized the ninja as one of the teachers in the ninja academy. He had a glare of hatred and a smirk as he looked at Naruto. Some of the ninja watched with satisfaction on their faces, while others just left. The villagers were starting to cheer for the blue-haired ninja. Naruto picked the shuriken out of his back and faced the ninja. The ninja smirked. "It's time someone finished you, of demon," he said. Naruto slowly removed his mask and let his face bask in the warm street lights. Tears slowly started to fall as he looked around to the villagers. They were all jeering and spiting him, and then something in Naruto snapped. Mizuki was glowing. He would be a hero after he finished of the demon. He watched as the demon removed its stolen mask. His smirk turned to a full-blown sneer when he saw the demon crying. Mizuki began to reach for more shuriken when his smile faded. He coughed blood, his stomach felt empty, his vision began to fade, and he could feel himself falling. He was dead before he even touched the ground. The villagers were silent. In 1 second their soon-to-be hero was about to attack the demon when his entire torso disintegrated. They all turned to the demon that was being devoured in red chakra. He roared into the night sky. Everyone fell to their knees at the force and pitch of the roar. Many villagers fainted. The chakra began to grow. It took the form of a giant 9-tailed fox. Many of the remaining ninja and villagers alike cowered at the power they felt. The fox began to glow a blinding light. It gave one last deafening roar as if it were in pain, before being devoured by light. The light disappeared and the fox was nowhere. The conscious ninja looked at the spot the demon had stood. They stayed there in silence, many in fear of what just happened. Kakashi walked through the village of Konoha. He glared at anyone who dared to cross his path. He had returned from his mission and was told by several witnesses of what had happened during his absence. He ignored the cheerful ninja waving to him. He glared at the happy villagers that were celebrating. He continued his trudge and reached the village gates in minutes. Without turning back, he walked past the 2 ninja guarding the gate. He stopped and pulled a piece of paper from his vest. He looked at it with sincere eyes, before slowly ripping it into pieces. The wind blew the shreds from his held-out palm. He continued to walk, before going into a run. A piece of the paper he had ripped landed on the ground. It read, "Adoption P? Where am I?" Naruto thought as he looked around. All he could see was darkness. He looked down and noticed that he was standing on a circular platform. It was white and had strange black markings around the edges. He moved to the edge to look at the markings. He had never seen writing like this before. Naruto, being a little curious, peeked over the edge of the platform and all he saw was darkness. He stood up and looked around. He saw an object in the middle of the circle. He walked to it and gasped when he saw the white fox mask that he wore. He picked it up and examined it. It was bigger than he remembered. The memories of what had happened returned to Naruto and he glared at the mask. He threw it across the platform and watched it fall over the edge. He gasped when the mask reappeared in his hand. Humans are pathetic, a raspy and growling voice said. Naruto quickly searched for the voice. He watched in silence as he saw strands of red chakra. The chakra strip multiplied and started to form together. Naruto frowned as the chakra made a floating fox head with strands of chakra flying everywhere. The fox head bore its fangs at Naruto. Naruto looked the beast right in the eyes, unflinching. Say something, boy, Kyuubi said. Aren't you afraid? Or is it that the fear has prevented you from speaking? He taunted. Naruto blinked at the fox. He looked at the mask in his hand and then to the fox. This is your fault, Naruto whispered. The fox's sneer grew into a full-blown, raspy laughter. The chakra started to surround Naruto. It lifted him up to the fox's face. I could kill you right now, human. Do you really think it's wise to anger me? Naruto glared at the fox. He didn't struggle to escape. Kakashi told me that the seal is made so that if I ever die, you die with me. Naruto calmly said. The fox slowly let Naruto down. The seal is no longer in place. Kyuubi said. Naruto raised an eyebrow. What do you mean? Naruto asked. A strand of red chakra took the mask in Naruto's hand. This mask has done something to the seal. It has fused us together. We have become one in body, mind and soul. Kyuubi explained. Naruto slowly let the information sink in and nodded to himself. The Kyuubi smirked at Naruto's reaction. It seems that my intelligence has also become one with you. Most humans, if not all, would have fainted from the news. Naruto nodded again. He was beginning to understand what this had meant. He had become the Kyuubi and the Kyuubi had become him. Now he understood his lack of fear. Kyuubi let the mask drop and Naruto caught it. So where am I? Naruto asked. You're inside your mindscape, Kyuubi answered. Naruto looked around. Kind of empty, isn't it? He asked. Kyuubi ignored the question and began to float around Naruto. Here is the current problem. We are trapped in here. I use the term we because we have become one and even with my power I cannot separate us. The problem at the beginning was the mask. It transported us into this mindscape when you had released my power. The power within it trapped us here. We are no longer in the ninja universe. Rather, we are in an infinite loophole called your mind. Normally this would mean that we are trapped in here forever, or until the end of all existence, but with my power there is a way to rip open a tear in your mind and release us. Naruto goggled at the fox. His brain would have been on overload, but thanks to the fox he was able to keep his wits. Alright, some quick questions. 1. Just what is this mask? 2. What do you mean we are no longer in the ninja universe? 3. Why are we stuck in my mind? Last but not least, how do you know all this? Naruto asked, counting his fingers. The fox head paused in midair for a few seconds before moving. The mask has some power radiating off of it. I believe that it came from the magic universe, because the power it's radiating isn't chakra. The reason we are stuck in your mind was because you, a pathetic human, had almost lost your sanity. Naruto raised an eyebrow at that. Your mind was in shambles when the mask transported us away. While we were fusing I was able to keep your mind intact or I would have lost my own mind, but your human instinct fought for control even though it was about to collapse. The struggle trapped our two minds here. That is why even though we fused, we can still talk to each other like this. Naruto bowed his head in shame. They were trapped here because of him. The Kyuubi took his silence as a sign to continue. As I said, we were transported to a different universe. And before you ask me a question about the workings of the universe, do not. You humans are not meant to know the secrets of the universe. Naruto nodded his head in acceptance. He felt bad that he wouldn't see Kakashi again, but he could get over it. After all, Kakashi was really the only one Naruto felt like seeing. I was originally from this universe and watched over it as the master of all magical arts, but when my job was done I was sent to the ninja universe. Naruto chose this moment to interrupt. Who sent you? He asked. Kyuubi shook his head. No need for you to know. Naruto frowned at the answer, but let it go. As for my knowing all of this, the reason is because this universe is the closest to my power. Magic is the strongest form of power, next to mine anyway. That is the reason I know all this. I am able to tap into the stream of magic that flows everywhere and learn its knowledge. Naruto nodded his head again. So, what now? How are you going to use your power to get us out? He asked. Kyuubi shook his head again. That is the greatest problem. We have fused and I no longer have access to all my power. To do that we must be in complete synchronization. Kyuubi answered. Naruto looked at the floating fox head in confusion. I thought that we were one in body, mind, and soul? How could we get any more synchronized than that? Naruto asked. That is true, but notice that we are still communicating as if we have separate minds. This means that our minds have not completely become one. When that happens we will be able to access my true powers. Kyuubi answered. Naruto went into a thinking pose. How do you suggest that we do that? He asked. The Kyuubi stopped in front of Naruto. Look up, Kyuubi said. Naruto did as he was told and gasped. Above him were 8 circular platforms like the one he was standing on. Each platform represents one of my tails. We are currently synced at only one tail. As you grow stronger in the use of magic, a stairway will lead us to each platform, until we finally reach perfect unity at the final tail. Naruto looked at the fox. I will teach you how to use magic and access my powers. Naruto looked at the fox head. He smirked and nodded. Naruto didn't know how long he had been training with the fox, but he could say that it was hell. The fox was the most relentless trainer Naruto had ever known. The fact that Naruto didn't have to eat or sleep was a good thing, but every hour was a living nightmare. You're progressing at a good pace, but at your current pace, we'll be here forever. The fox groaned. Naruto looked at the fox in annoyance. It was true that he had made a lot of progress, but he was only at the second platform. He lied flat on his back and looked up at the other platforms. He raised his right hand and the white fox mask appeared in it. The mask had changed again. It was more feral and if placed on Naruto's face it would cover his ears and jaw. I have an idea. For it to work you must first learn to read the magic in the air first. The fox said. Naruto stood up and walked over to the fox. He was good at reading magic in the air, but not at a level that the fox considered good. Naruto felt the magic around him and the two began their training. Naruto had finally learned to read the magic in the air so well, that even the Kyuubi was impressed. He was currently on the 3rd platform. Naruto was amazed at the potential that came with learning to read air. He could do things that ninja would have considered impossible. He let the magic surrounding him enter him, then he released it in a rapid stream of energy. Kyuubi watched as Naruto did this. He had to admit that the boy had surpassed the potential of every human he had ever seen. Alright, it's time to learn how to use magic in the air to access my power, but first you'll need a catalyst. Luckily you already have an avatar for this. Naruto looked at the mask in his hand. It had changed again. The mask was still white, but it now had blood red around the eye holes. The 3 red lines were spaced apart more. The wide smile it had was now replaced by a ferocious grin. It looked a lot more feral. He put the mask on and as if by magic, the mask fit his face perfectly. Now control the magic in the air and put it all in the mask. Kyuubi commanded. Naruto did as he was told and he started to feel the Kyuubi's magic. He looked around and watched as stairs made of light appeared leading to the platforms. Naruto quickly ran up the stairs until he reached the 6th platform. He could feel the power flowing through him. He froze when the mask shattered. He felt himself falling and landed with a thump. Naruto groaned as he stood up. Looked at the stairs and smiled when he realized that he was on the 4th platform. The mask seems to increase your power by 3 platforms. It should get stronger as you get stronger. We only need 7 tails to open a portal out of our mind. Kyuubi said. Naruto reformed the mask in his hands and placed it on his face. He saw the stairs of light and ran for it. He reached the 7th platform. He stayed there for 12 seconds before the mask shattered. He flipped as he fell and landed on his feet. He turned to the Kyuubi head. What do I do now? Naruto asked. The fox began to swirl around Naruto. I will teach you about dimensions and some techniques that use the ability to warp through space. This should help you stay on the 7th platform long enough to get us out of here. Naruto nodded and smirked at the chance to learn new techniques. Without wasting any time he reformed the mask and moved to put it on when the fox stopped him. The mask may help your ability to learn techniques faster, but it is an access to my power. You must learn the techniques using your own magic. Naruto nodded and let the mask disappear in his hand. The two began their training. With Kyuubi's training and an unknown amount of time, Naruto had become proficient at using dimension magic. He was happy with the techniques that Kyuubi had taught him. He was especially pleased with his new favorite technique, the 13 totem pole. The technique was, in basic terms, the ability to control an unbreakable totem pole made with 13 segments. Each segment had a special power, but Naruto had yet to learn them. He had been training with the totem so well that he had created his own techniques for it, but for some odd reason that even Kyuubi had stated, the totem pole looked exactly like the chain that Kakashi had given Naruto. "Alright, show me the technique," Kyuubi said. Naruto nodded and threw a 7-foot totem staff. He watched it fly over the platform. He snapped his fingers and the totem pole disappeared. A second passed and the air around Naruto started to bend. The space around Naruto turned darker than usual. From the ground appeared an uncountable number of giant totem poles that surrounded Naruto. Naruto snapped his fingers and every single totem pole disappeared in an instant flash of light. The air around Naruto started to rip and tear. The assault was over in seconds, but the damage was done. The space around Naruto was shredded and destroyed. Kyuubi nodded his head in satisfaction. "Finally, it's time for us to get out of here," Kyuubi said. "Do you remember what to do?" Naruto nodded and began to gather magic particles in the air. He condensed them as tight as he could, as they formed the shape of his mask. He brought the mask up to his face and it locked into place. The stairs of light appeared and Naruto charged at them without hesitation. He reached the 7th platform in seconds and began to charge power. He concentrated the power around his palm and pointed it in air. The magic around Naruto's palm began to turn black. The black magic compressed into a small ball, the size of a marble. Cuts began to appear on his arm. Ignoring the pain, Naruto continued to compile the magic. "Now quickly, shoot it," Kyuubi yelled. Naruto finished compiling and shot the magic. He screamed when blood burst through multiple cuts in his arm. The blast made a vacuum-like sound as it blasted through the dimension and made a gaping tear. Naruto ran towards the tear as his mask shattered. He yelled as he jumped through the tear and everything turned white. The first thing Naruto noticed was that it was wet and that he was being pulled up. He stupidly tried to take a deep breath only to start choking. Whatever pulling him up went faster and tossed him up. Naruto flew out of the lake and landed beside it. He choked and spurted out water. He groaned as he looked around only to see Kyuubi's chakra head glaring at him. "You're an idiot," Kyuubi growled before fading into Naruto. Naruto slowly stood up, examined his surroundings. He plucked some grass and said, "I don't care. As long as I'm out of my mind." He played with the grass and tossed it into the air. "I've never been so happy to see green grass before," he said with a smile. Letting himself fall backwards and giving a sigh, he started to make a grass angel. Kyuubi reappeared and began to float around him. The two stayed there in silence, basking in their completed mission. After some minutes, Naruto turned to the head and asked, "Shouldn't we have a look around?" Kyuubi was about to answer when a large explosion rocked the distance. Naruto could hear screaming and screeching. He looked at Kyuubi and the two nodded in sync. Kyuubi faded as Naruto dashed towards the explosion. As he dashed, the sky slowly turned dark. He stopped and looked up in confusion. Naruto closed his eyes and read the air. It was harder now that he was out of his mind. The air told him that there was a village being attacked by demons, but it also told him that there was someone powerful on their way to help. Naruto continued to dash towards the village with increased gusto. He reached the village in time to see a little boy running up a hill. The boy was crying and Naruto could see why. At the base of the hill were 3 monsters chasing the boy and behind them was a man frozen in stone. Naruto watched the boy stop when he reached an unconscious body of a blonde-haired woman. The boy looked at the girl before turning to the monsters. He held up the wand and tried casting a spell in hopes of protecting the girl. A small light appeared from the wand before snuffing out. Naruto couldn't help but smile at the boy's bravery, but it was time for him to intervene. Neji watched as the demons charged at him. He saw a bright light in the distance. Neji could only shield his eyes as the light engulfed the monsters. When the light disappeared, there was no trace of the monsters. Neji gasped when 2 figures landed in front of him. One was a small kid wearing a white mask that scared him and the other was an older-looking wizard. The wizard turned to Neji and smiled before turning to Naruto. Naruto looked up at the hooded figure, then to Neji. He smiled, although it couldn't be seen, and turned his attention back to the village. He could hear more screams coming from it. Neji watched, scared as a bolt of light shot at them from the sky. Naruto created 5 giant totem poles and blocked the shot. He pushed at the sky and the sections of the pole shot to the sky. He activated Chidori in his right hand and shot at the village. The hooded figure and Neji watched as Naruto defeated every monster remaining in the village. Naruto's mask cracked as he finished the last monster. He pulled his scarf up and walked back to the other 2. He froze when the ground began to shake. The earth split under him and he jumped to avoid the gaping hole. The 3 watched in shock as a gigantic monster rose from the ground. Its body was made of pearl-white scales and it had the head of a dragon. Its body slowly slithered out of the ground as it roared at Naruto. He barely had time to react when the mage jumped over Naruto chanting a spell. He waved the air in front of him and a giant bolt of lightning flew towards the monster. Naruto watched with awe as it was completely incinerated. The sky slowly turned back to normal only to reveal that it was night. Naruto walked through the village in silence as Kyuubi floated around him. He closed his eyes as he read the air. The villagers were all frozen in stone. There wasn't a single survivor, except for that kid and his sister. Naruto found the little boy talking to the hooded figure. The man dropped down on one knee and ruffled the boy's hair. He said some things that Naruto didn't feel like intruding on. He handed the boy his staff and turned to Naruto. "Who are you?" the man silently asked. Naruto looked at the man in silence. Kyuubi started to float around him in a menacing way, but the man ignored it. Naruto smirked and held out his hand. "Naruto," he said, introducing himself. The man took the hand and shook. "So Naruto, just what are you? You can't be more than 10 years old and yet you seem to have the same if not more power than me. How is that possible?" Naruto regarded the man with suspicion. "Do you know about the 9-tailed fox?" Naruto asked. The man nodded. "I guessing that the floating head is him?" he asked. Naruto smiled and nodded. "My name is Naruto and I am one with the 9-tailed fox," Naruto said in a monotone voice. He waited for a reaction from the man. He didn't expect the man to burst out laughing. The man removed his hood to reveal his red and black hair. Neji, who was watching in silence, gasped at the man. "Father," Neji whispered. Naruto looked at Neji, then to the man. He realized that the man looked like an older version of the boy. The man grabbed Naruto's face and began to make faces with it. "You should smile more. How old are you anyway?" he asked through his smile as he pinched Naruto's cheeks. Naruto tried to push the man off only to find that he couldn't. "So how old are you?" Nagi asked again. Naruto freed himself and answered, 10. The man put on a thoughtful face. 6 years older than my son. He said to himself, "I owe you my thanks. You saved my son Neji and helped me defeat those monsters. Those actions have already told me the kind of person you are." He finished with a smile. Naruto looked at the man as though he had been slapped in the face. Is he right in the head? Naruto thought to himself. He looked up at the man who was waiting for a reaction. "So what do you plan on doing now?" Nagi asked. Naruto had a feeling that the man knew what he was thinking about. "I never thought about it," Naruto answered. The man smiled and clapped his hands together. "Why don't you help me out? I have another favor I need to ask you." Naruto looked at the man in confusion. Kyuubi, who was still floating around the man, disappeared. "Help you out how?" Naruto asked, raising an eyebrow. He felt Kyuubi's presence trying to warn him. Naruto agreed to be cautious and turned his attention to the mage. "My son is a 4-year-old boy. He has no mother or father that can be with him." The man started. Naruto noticed the drop in his happy expression, but Naruto felt as though he knew what the man would ask. He only has his cousin who, although a kind girl, isn't strong enough to protect him from dangers like this. "I need someone to watch over Neji and act as his guardian." He stopped and looked at Naruto, who was smiling. "So you want me to be his brother?" Naruto asked before bursting into a laughing fit. The man looked down as Naruto continued to laugh. Naruto stopped laughing and pumped chakra into his black and white hair. The man watched in fascination as Naruto's hair became an exact copy of his own hair, except it was white and black instead of red and black. "Normally I would call you crazy or something less nice, but right now I got nothing better to do," Naruto said with a smirk. I can't let the boy grow up like I did, alone and scared. He thought with a frown. Who are you anyway and what's my payment for watching your son? Naruto asked with another smirk. The man smiled and struck a pose. They call me the Thousand Master. He crossed his arms in thought, and as for your payment, how about I give you this? Nagi reached into his pocket and pulled out a small package. He unraveled it, revealing a deck of cards. Naruto took the cards and examined them. His confusion rose as he looked at every card. Each card was blank. What is this? Naruto asked, holding up the deck. Nagi smiled and gave Naruto the deck box. That, my friend, is the deck of all. It is said that whoever controls the deck can control everything. Naruto looked at Nagi as if he was stupid. If it's so powerful, then why haven't you used it and instead giving it to a 10-year-old boy? Nagi smiled as if he were expecting the question. He said, my friends and I found it a while back. None of us could make it work, so they said I should keep it for protection. I believe that you might be able to use it. After all, you are the nine-tailed fox. Naruto nodded and accepted the answer. He looked through the deck again. So what is it supposed to do exactly? It's said to grant the user any power he wants and place it on the card. The reason it's called the deck of all is because the number of cards never seems to run out. Naruto understood what he was talking about. He had counted 50 cards the first time but counted 77 the second time. Naruto could feel Kyuubi telling him that the deck was important and decided to accept the deal. He looked up at Nagi and said, alright mage, you got yourself a new son. Neji sat by his cousin waiting for her to awake. The entire village was underwatched by magic soldiers and he and his cousin were in the medical ward waiting for something to happen. He turned to his left to see the same kid from before looking through a deck of cards. Neji fiddled with his fingers and turned to the boy, are you my brother now? Naruto stopped flipping through the deck and turned to Neji. He stood up and walked to him. He ruffled Negi's head and said, we're family now. Naruto's eyes widened and he turned away. He had said that a bit too happy. Are you okay? Neji asked. Naruto was surprised at how easily the boy had taken to him. Naruto guessed that he wasn't the only one who wanted someone to talk to. Hey, let's go explore the village. Naruto said to Neji. The village was completely empty and void of life. Tears stung Negi's eyes as he recalled what had taken place a few hours ago. Naruto saw the tears and grabbed the boy's shoulders. Neji turned and hugged Naruto. Today was not his day, the only good thing was that he had seen his father and got a new brother. The two stood there as the day passed. Naruto watched Neji as he made a resolution to become stronger like his father and his new brother. Naruto decided that he would help take care of Neji. Surprisingly, the boy had grown on him. The next 6 years had been blurs for both Naruto and Neji. After Naruto showed Neji and his cousin Nikane the letter writing by Nagi, Naruto was accepted into the family, especially by Nikane. The three moved to a magician's village in Wales, where both Naruto and Neji enrolled in the magic school that Nikane was currently attending. Naruto and Neji were labeled as geniuses and Naruto was labeled as a prodigy that graduated in 1 year. Neji even met a childhood friend of his who used to live in his previous village. Naruto, who became known as a prodigy of the century, graduated in less than a year. He would have graduated faster, but the headmaster said that he'd to actually have to look like he was in school. It wasn't bad though, because the headmaster let him go on small missions for the school and even let him teach some classes. Naruto and Kyuubi had studied the cards given to them by Nagi and realized something. He gave me blank Pactio cards. Naruto exclaimed in outrage. Kyuubi told Naruto to calm down and said that they weren't Pactio cards, although they did have the outlines. He also told Naruto that the cards actually did what they were said to do, but he had to unlock their powers. Naruto then trained like there was no tomorrow and was finally able to use one of the cards. He decided to create a card that augmented his 13 totem poles. He called the card the replica, on the basis that it could change into any weapon he wanted. It might have been a waste of a good wish, but Naruto decided that he would eventually unlock the ability to make cards at will. Apparently training with you has its upsides. Naruto joked to Kyuubi as he created another card. Naruto had created his second card and was going to make the wish count. Aren't you going to be late for your brother's graduation? Kyuubi asked as he disappeared. Naruto cursed and grabbed the card. He wished for an ability that allowed him to travel as fast as he wanted. He seemed phase away into air. He gaped at the card when he reappeared in front of the graduation hall building. Naruto walked into the hall and groaned, "Thanks a lot," he said as the card disappeared. He quickly found his seat as the opening ceremony began. Neji walked up to receive his diploma. He turned to the audience who were applauding, but his eyes didn't catch any of them. He saw Naruto, who was smirking at him, and his smile widened. His brother had made it after all. Overall, the 6 years that had passed were good for Naruto, but his past scars had not been erased. Naruto had become a little cold and more serious about life. He was quiet and would always be found sleeping or alone meditating. Neji, on the other hand, had thrived at the space Naruto filled in. Having a brother made all the difference in the world for him. Whenever Naruto did something, Neji would always try and mimic it. This was funny at first, but then Neji tried to copy the dangerous things Naruto had to set him straight. The two had become close over the years, almost as close as Naruto and Kyuubi, but that was impossible. 6 years had passed since their first meeting. "You did well, Neji," Naruto said, ruffling his hair. Neji were walking through the halls of the school when they heard someone calling them. Naruto, who could easily sense them, continued to walk. Neji turned to see his sister and his childhood friend running to catch up with them. "So Neji," Anya asked, "what does your diploma say?" "Mine said fortune-telling in London." Neji looked at his diploma while Naruto talked to Nikane. Nikane clung to Naruto's arm and said, "Haven't seen you in a while, Naruto. How did you make it? I thought you were training far away. So where have you been?" Naruto felt Kyuubi snicker and glared at thin air. "It's a long story," he answered. Negi's diploma began to glow. "It says a teacher in Japan?" Neji exclaimed. The three quickly rushed to find the headmaster while Naruto walked away with a smile. He called the card from thin air and his smile disappeared. "What a waste," he sighed. "Oh well, at least it will help me in battle." Kyuubi appeared and began to float around with a smirk on his face. Naruto tried to slap the head only for his hand to go through the chakra. Kyuubi started to laugh at him and Naruto glared. A few days later, "So you're leaving now?" Naruto asked. He and Nikane were saying goodbye to Neji and Anya. Neji nodded and tried to put on a tough face before he burst into tears. Nikane ran and hugged Neji. She pulled Anya into the hug and the three all cried. Naruto watched with a raised eyebrow as Neji ran up and tried to hug him. Naruto smirked and flicked Neji in the forehead. Neji fell back with a thump and glared at Naruto. "What was that for?" he yelled. Naruto ruffled Negi's hair and said, "You'll do fine, Neji, you too, Anya." He began to walk away when he stopped. "Oh yeah, I'll visit you soon." He waved once and walked away. He was followed by a waving Nikane. Neji stood up and nodded to Anya. "What's his problem? He's always so mean," Anya asked with a huff. Neji shook his head and smiled as he and Anya boarded the magical train. "So what do you plan to do now?" Nikane asked. Naruto looked at the girl before pulling her into a one-armed hug as they walked. He pulled out a piece of paper from his pocket. "I never did show you my diploma," he said as he unfolded the paper. Nikane took it and read it. She smiled at him and asked, "When are you going?" Naruto took back the paper and let her go from the hug. "I'm going tomorrow," he answered. Nikane's smile faltered. "When will you be back?" Naruto shook his head and shrugged, "Don't know." "Well, just be careful." Naruto smiled and nodded. He turned to walk away when Nikane grabbed him. She kissed him before running away. Naruto stood there with his mouth agape. The only sound that could be heard was Kyuubi's laughter and whistling, but only Naruto could hear it. Naruto smirked as he examined the Stonehenge structures. This was the gate to the magical world. Naruto could see other mages waiting for the gate to open. Many waved to him as he passed. The kindness shown was too much. I could be an enemy and yet they welcome me. Naruto thought of this with a smile. Back in the elemental universe that would never happen. Ninja were too suspicious of others. They would never rest. Perhaps this was the reason Naruto loved this world more than he could ever love the other. As Naruto waited, he examined his deck of all. Out of all the cards he had, he only unlocked 3 cards. He drew the 3 cards that all had pictures of him doing something different. He looked at the first one. It had a picture of him surrounded by multiple objects. The holder lets me store everything and anything I want in another infinite space. Surprisingly, he could use this ability as many times as he wanted. He even learned that he could send whole buildings with this ability. He pulled the next one. It had a picture of him running, but half of his body was phasing away. The speed lets me travel to anywhere I've already been in an instant and lets me move at high speeds. The speed was a great ability even if he had made it by accident. If Naruto had already seen a destination, he could instantly phase there. If he wanted to use it in battle, he would move with a loud swift sound. The speed, unlike the holder, had a limit, and Naruto could only use it in battle 4 times, and phase 6 times. But he could feel the limits growing. He pulled the next one. It was like the first one, but he was surrounded by weapons of every type. The replica allows me to create any type of weapon I've seen or used. The replica was pretty simple. It allowed him to create any weapon he saw or used. It would even have the same magical properties. Naruto didn't know if there was a limit to the number of times he could use it, but it didn't seem like it had any. After examining all of them, he put the deck away and turned to the group of mages that were staring at him and whispering. He was about to walk over to them when he saw who he was waiting for. A beautiful, blonde-haired girl walked up to him. She had one large bang that dropped to the side of her face, held back by a clip shaped like a wing. She also wore a mage's cloak and her eyes were a piercing yellow, yet she had a kind, calm smile. She waved as Naruto walked up to her. "Donut, how are you?" She smiled at him. Naruto smirked. He could feel the calm radiating from her. "Naruto, it's good to see you. You look a lot stronger than last time we met." "Last time we met I was 11 and had just graduated from the academy." The girl smiled and pulled a book from her robe. "This is the current book of Lawless. Only high-ranked mages get this book. It has the most files of all the exiled, evil mages we know." Naruto took the book from her and flipped it open. The book was pocket-sized and could fit in his pocket easily. Each page had info on one mage needed to be captured. Naruto noticed that the book was charmed so that it was smaller. The numbers of pages were a lot bigger than what the book should have been. Naruto looked at the gate after he finished checking the book. "How's the headmaster?" she asked. Naruto groaned and shook his head. "You mean your father? That old man has me running ragged." Donut chuckled, causing Naruto to smile. "I honestly thought that when he said that I would be doing some missions for the school, that he meant that I would be going around the school, not across the entire world." The two smiled and laughed at the joke. They continued to talk as the morning sun rose. Finally the structures began to shine. A large magic circle appeared beneath them and began to shine. "Well, I'll be seeing you, Naruto." Donut McGinnis smiled. Naruto nodded before the light engulfed him and many other mages. A large seal appeared overhead. A large light shot from it, completely engulfing the Stonehenge structures. Donut smiled when the light disappeared. She tucked the wing clip in her hair tighter. "Now I need to return to Mahura Academy. The principal needs to hear of the strange occurrences. Good luck, Naruto." She walked away from the stone structures before tossing a small orb into the air. Mahura Academy appeared in the glass. She nodded and disappeared. Naruto opened one eye and examined his surroundings. He was in a high-tech building. Many of the mages that he had teleported with were heading off the stands. The platform was circular and connected by short bridges to other circular platforms. Naruto walked through the platforms until he reached the exit. Naruto smiled at the view. There were whales swimming in the sky, ships flying past them. Many of the buildings were large and beautiful. He could see a giant statue of a master magi and his partner. Naruto walked to the checkout booth. He smiled at the 3 girls there who all blushed at the sight of him. "Why, you're Naruto-sama," the black-haired girl said. Naruto nodded and handed her all his weapons, all but his deck of cards. The girl blushed as she handed him his weapons in a magic seal box. "You won't be able to open the box until you're out of the gate port, Naruto-sama." Naruto nodded and before he walked away was called by the lady. "Naruto-sama, may I shake your hand?" Naruto raised a hidden eyebrow and walked to the lady. She shook his hand and Naruto noticed the huge blush that appeared on her face. He smirked and decided to go even farther. Leaning in, he gave her a kiss on the cheek. The girl froze and almost fell back. The other 2 who were watching with blushes quickly walked toward Naruto. "You too?" he asked with a smile. They nodded and Naruto repeated the process of shaking and kissing their hands and cheeks respectively. When all was said and done, Naruto headed for the entrance. The outside was sunny and beautiful, but before Naruto could leave he saw 3 figures in the darkness. The one in the middle, who was wearing a normal mage cloak, waved him over. The other two were easily recognizable as elite guards of the Hellas Empire. Walking over to them in a calm manner, Naruto couldn't help but smile. The person he was about to meet was the last person supposed to be here. "Long time no see, princess," Naruto said in a monotone voice. The figure in the middle walked up to Naruto and did something that surprised him. She slapped him. Naruto's eyes widened, and by the stares he was getting he wasn't the only one surprised. The guards motioned for them to leave the port. Naruto, who was still surprised from the slap, followed in silence. The outside was beautiful and crowded with people. Suddenly a shadow appeared over Naruto. The shadow got larger and larger. The people who were in the streets were parting to make space. He looked up to see a large dragon land right in front of him. Naruto's sweat dropped at the sight. Many of the citizens that saw it backed away in fright. Dragons weren't really normal on the streets. The mage that had slapped him jumped onto the dragon, motioning for Naruto to follow. Naruto and the guards followed and sat on the dragon. The mage removed her hood to reveal her long white hair. She had horns that were curved around her forehead, making what looked like a crown. She glared at Naruto, who gently smiled. "You idiot Naruto, you could have at least sent me a letter every once in a while." Naruto was about to speak to the tomboy princess when the dragon began to fly. He looked at the ground and looked at all the faces staring up at them. "My fault, but I've been really busy." "So you've been too busy to even contact me once in 5 years?" the princess interrupted. Naruto shook his head and smirked. "You're a Princess Theodora. How would it look if I asked for an audience with the third princess of Hellas without a good reason?" Theodora's angry face faltered and was replaced by a sad frown. "I told you to call me Theo," she said. Naruto removed his hood and let his white and black hair flow in the wind. "I'm sorry that I didn't talk to you for 5 years, but now I have a good reason." "So do you forgive me?" Theodora pouted before smiling. In an instant she was hugging Naruto. Naruto hugged her back before smirking. "I can't stay mad at you." Naruto smirked and said, "You really are a tomboy princess. You came all this way just to say hi. Shouldn't you be at your castle? She likes you. Good going, kid, you might have some potential after all, just don't mess this up." "Shut up." Theodora moved away from Naruto when he saw his face contort and smirked. "You haven't been talking to that furball, have you?" Naruto shook his head. She was the only one Naruto had confided in about Kyuubi. Surprisingly, she took it well and even promised Naruto that she would keep it their little secret. Naruto pulled out the Magi bingo book. "So you're going to hunt Rouges?" Naruto nodded and flipped through the book. "Have you heard anything about Nagi?" Theodora frowned and shook her head. "Sadly no, I believed that he was dead until I met you." She smirked and said, "Who would have thought that Nagi would have adopted someone like you?" Naruto raised an eyebrow. "That reminds me. Don't tell anyone this, but," he leaned in and whispered in her ear. "Nagi had a true-born child." Naruto smirked when she rolled her eyes. "Obviously you knew that, but what you don't know is where he is." She seemed to gain interest at this. "And here's the best part. I'm not telling you." A small silence pasted between the two before Naruto burst out laughing. Theodora blushed and attacked Naruto. She tried to strangle him as he laughed, although it sounded more like a wheezing and coughing. After the interesting episode, Naruto noticed that they were landing. The dragon landed them in a deserted rock land. Multiple boulders were floating in the sky, and Naruto, who hadn't seen them before, was interested. He suddenly sensed 2 powerful sources of energy. "Hey Theo!" a voice yelled. "About time." Naruto saw a man jumping at them at a high speeds. The man was wearing a black suit and had a strange hairstyle. It was gelled back but had 5 long spikes sticking out. He had a smirk on his face as he jumped on the dragon. "Yo, who is this?" he said, motioning to Naruto. Naruto, who had never seen the man before, stayed silent and observed him. The man seemed to do the same before smiling. "He looks a lot like Nagi, except for the hair color and the scars." "Ricardo. This is Naruto Springfield, Nagi's adopted son," Theodora answered. Ricardo's face went from happiness to shock to happiness in seconds. "Oh, so you're the one Theo always talks about. It's always Naruto's so cute. I bet that when he grows up he'll be so handsome." Ricardo continued to say things that caused Theodora to turn red while Naruto tried to cover up his own blush. Needless to say, Kyuubi was snickering like mad. Before Theodora could strangle him, a voice said, "Leave them alone, Ricardo. You know what young love is like." A woman who looked like she was in her 40s landed next to Ricardo. She had long white hair and her horns went out instead of in. "Hello, I'm Sarah's. A pleasure to meet you, Naruto-kun." Naruto took her outstretched and shook. Theodora turned to Naruto and explained, "That idiot over there is the senator for Megalo-Mesombrian and she is the president of the Ariadne Knights. We came here to pick them up for a meeting." Naruto smiled and stood up. "This is actually far enough. Thanks for the ride, but I need to begin my mission." Theodora looked confused. "You're leaving already?" Naruto nodded and put away his book. "The bounty I'm looking for is actually close here, but he won't be here for long and I don't want to waste your time." Naruto made to jump off the dragon but was grabbed by the arm. He turned to face Theodora. "Promise me that you'll come by later, okay?" Naruto nodded and smiled. "Let me give you a good luck charm before you leave." She moved in to kiss Naruto. Kyuubi noticed this and activated his power. As Theodora kissed Naruto, a Pactio circle appeared under them. Naruto kissed her back, completely ignoring the circle. The other two who were watching were shocked when the circle appeared. When the kiss ended, two cards floated into each other's hands. Theodora looked at her card and blushed. On it was Naruto and he was facing away from the picture. He was wearing a black cloak with red clouds. It also had a large collar that covered the bottom part of his face. The bottom of the cloak stopped inches below his knee. It was split at the bottom, revealing his left leg. He had black ninja pants with black boots. The cloak had a separate section that covered it like a jacket. The jacket part had a large hood that shadowed his face. But behind Naruto was a giant malicious fox. The fox was facing in a way that showed only one eye. The eye had one red pupil with a slit in it and multiple rings around it. On one ring, creating a triangle around the pupils, were 3 different eyes. The bottom eye was red and had 3 arcs around the eye. The top right was pale purple and the top left was yellow with one slit in it. "Your past couldn't leave you alone, could it?" Kyuubi asked as Naruto examined the card. Naruto was silent and thought, "Did you do this?" He could hear Kyuubi's laughter. Silence reigned until Theodora looked up at Naruto with hopeful eyes. "So does this make you my knight in shining armor?" Naruto looked up from the card and nodded. He had studied Pactio cards and he knew that those who made them were connected until they died. "Hey, at least now we can stay in contact with each other," he said, rubbing his cheek, "and hopefully you won't slap me next time. I still feel it, you know." Theodora smiled and hugged Naruto. He returned the hug before jumping off the dragon and landed with a thump. He looked up at a waving princess before pulling up his hood. "Bye, princess," he said as the dragon took off, leaving him alone. "Check your deck." Naruto called his deck of all and noticed that a blank card was glowing. Kyuubi's head appeared and began to float around him. "It seems that when you make a Pactio that you gain a free card. So what should I make next?" In the elemental universe there was a shield known as the Mirror of Yata. It had the ability to block and reflect anything. "I believe that you should make a card like that. The power of ultimate defense will be a greatly needed ability." Naruto nodded and held the card. He wished for an ability that could block and repel anything. The card began to glow and when the glow dispersed it revealed Naruto standing in a large see-through sphere. The sphere had a dark tint but other than that was clear. "I'll name it the shield." Naruto put the deck away and obtained his weapons from the magical seal. The seal disappeared and returned to the gate port. Putting away all his weapons, Naruto took out the Magi Bingo book. He flipped through a few pages until he found who he was looking for. Naruto smirked as he read the name, SS-ranked mage and flee on sight. Fate Avarunkus. 7-year-old Neji fell down frustrated. No matter how hard he tried he couldn't get the spell down. Naruto already knows this spell. He thought with a frown. I'll never catch up to him. He had been practicing a high-level spell near the lake, but no matter how hard he tried he couldn't get the spell to come out right. Suddenly he heard footsteps. He looked up to see his older brother walking toward him. Naruto had a large paper bag in his hands. He had just gone grocery shopping. The other bags were in his dimension holder. He raised an eyebrow when he saw Neji lying on the ground. "What's wrong, little bro?" Naruto asked, squatting next to Neji. Neji looked at his role model before turning away. "I can't learn a new spell." Naruto looked at the boy and smiled. "What's the spell? I'll help you with it." Neji quickly turned and looked at Naruto with wide eyes. "Really?" he asked. Naruto nodded. Neji stood up and waved his hands. The spell is Flans Saltatio Pulveria, blow forth, dancing dust. Naruto raised an eyebrow. The spell simply caused a powerful wind to blow in the direction cast. It sounded easy, but the spell needed a lot of magic. Alright, show me what you can do, Naruto said, walking back. Neji nodded and began to gather magic. He cast the spell and Naruto watched as a large tornado surrounded Neji. The tornado lasted for seconds, before disappearing. When Neji was done, he groaned. You see, I can't shoot the wind. It always surrounds me. Naruto looked at the boy and shook his head. He walked up to him and ruffled his hair. Neji, you idiot, do you know what you just did? Neji, who was confused, shook his head. Naruto stood up and smirked. You just used a high-level spell without even knowing it. Negi's eyes widened. What do you mean? Naruto closed his eyes in memorization. He walked towards the lake. Neji tried to follow, but Naruto shooed him back. Watch this, Naruto said as he held his hands around him. He quickly built up magic and yelled, Flans Paris Venti Vertentis, blow forth, wall of churning wind. A large powerful tornado surrounded Naruto. It lasted longer than Negi's before Naruto cut off the magic supply. Naruto turned to Neji and said, that's the spell you were doing. What you were trying to do was this. Naruto built up magic again and pointed over the lake. Flans Saltatio Pulveria, blow forth, dancing dust. A large blast of wind sprayed over the lake. Neji watched in awe as the water churned rapidly. The air lessened and Naruto turned to Neji. You were building the magic right, but your form was wrong. To cast the first spell I did, your arms are at your side. This tells the wind to surround you. Pointing at a target tells the wind to blow that target. You can't hold the wand with the tip pointing up. Point it at an enemy, alright? Neji, who was listening in rapt silence, nodded. He walked to the lake and tried the spell again. Naruto couldn't help but feel proud as the lake churned at the force of the air. He ruffled Negi's hair as the boy thanked him. Alright, you've learned your new spell. All you need now is practice. Negi's stomach growled. And from that, I'm guessing it's time for lunch. The two walked back to their house with Neji on Naruto's shoulders. Naruto's eyes snapped open. Rise and shine, sleepy head. How long have I been asleep? Naruto thought. A few hours, Kyuubi answered. Naruto stood up and stretched. He had been sleeping on a rock and his back hurt a little. I should have packed a sleeping bag, he thought with a yawn. After examining his surroundings, Naruto decided to go west. He jumped from floating rock to floating rock before he landed on large rock bordering a forest. Naruto began to read the air. His target was close, just over this forest. The reason Naruto was traveling by foot was because he wanted the element of surprise. Dragons were highly magical animals and could be sensed far away. Not only could you feel them, but it was kind of hard not to see a ferocious two-story animal flying at you. That was the reason he left the dragon carrier. He also knew that he would be going into battle and didn't want to waste any of his resources. Naruto walked through the forest reading the magic in the air. There were others nearby, but they weren't his target. There were 4 sources and he could sense them moving below him. They must be underground, Naruto thought as he continued to walk through the forest. After a few minutes of travel, Naruto exited the forest and set foot in a rocky plain. He could see nothing in the distance except for more mountains. He could sense his target not too far away. Are you ready? Kyuubi asked. Naruto cracked his knuckles and nodded before springing into action. Fate Avarunkus examined his handiwork. 3 grand dragons lay near him dead. Grand dragons weren't the strongest dragons in the world, but they were up there with the highlight daywalkers. He had finished the dragons in a large trench, so their flying would be limited. The contract owner would definitely pay handsomely for them, but the money was not for Fate. In fact, he could care less about it. He turned to face the 4 girls that were currently with him. They needed the money for their expenses. Not only them, but the other 2 back at headquarters. Do they always need so much? He thought as he ran his fingers through his hair. He was snapped out of his thoughts when he heard chirping. Not just one bird chirping, but many, close to 1,000. A large blue bird made of electricity flew over the chasm. They were at a high speed. It zigzagged, pasted over the girls, and shot straight at him. He jumped back and cast an earth wall. The bird collided with the wall and seemed to shatter. Fate then saw a figure overhead. The figure followed the exact path that the bird had flown in, but even faster, and Fate could see why. In the figure's hand was what looked like a leash made of lightning. Must have been connected to the bird. Fate thought with a passive expression. The mage flipped over the wall and shot at Fate with high speed. Naruto threw a left fist covered in electricity at Fate. The boy smirked and caught the Chidori. This surprised Naruto, but he smirked. The chirping increased, causing Fate to grunt before throwing Naruto away. Naruto landed right in the middle of the girls who had already prepared for battle. Naruto dropped down on one knee and held his right hand with his left. In an instant charged at Fate. Chidori! Naruto yelled as he shot past the girls and impaled the falling Fate. Fate's eyes widened, but suddenly glared at Naruto as he exploded. Naruto grunted in pain as he flew back and landed with a thump. A burst on fire appeared out of nowhere and quickly hit his left cloak arm. The fire quickly spread and Naruto was forced to remove his cloak. He wore a sleeveless black shirt with a collar that reached mid-neck. His forearms were covered in gauze wrapped in black bracelets. He wore black combat pant that stopped below his knee. The remainder of his legs was wrapped in gauze. Around his waist was the 13 totem pole chain. Naruto's eyes widened when multiple spikes of stone appeared beneath him, causing him to flip back. He landed flipped away from the group who had regrouped. He glared as Fate slowly rose from the ground. "Fate-sama, please let us deal with him," the girl with the violin said. Naruto raised an eyebrow at the girl. The boy was his only target and he didn't feel like dealing with them. He shot past the girls and quickly threw a punch. Fate dodged and grabbed his arm. Naruto grabbed the arm that Fate was holding and made to throw Fate. His eyes widened when the boy didn't budge. A spike rose from the ground and impaled him. Naruto slowly turned to face Fate. The boy smirked before letting go. "Your life must not have been important to you." He smirked. Naruto made to say something but instead raised his hand and pointed to Fate's feet. Fate looked down as the real Naruto burst from the ground with a Chidori. Naruto quickly impaled Fate, but the boy phased away. Naruto dusted himself off and looked at the girls. They were all watching the fight with tense expressions. Naruto didn't have time to say anything when a fist shot past his ear. He flipped backwards over the attacker and landed with a crouch. Fate jumped forward, flipping while putting both hands in his pockets. "What's with that stance?" Naruto asked with a sneer. Fate shook his head and smiled a small smile. "This is no stance. I have no need to fight you seriously." Fate taunted. Naruto sneered and charged at Fate. He and the boy were locked in close combat. Naruto growled as he delivered a jab that Fate went to block. Naruto smirked and revealed the punch to be a feint. He brought his left leg up for a sweep kick. Fate leaned back, avoiding the kick. He grabbed Naruto's leg and went to toss him, only to see Naruto leaning back. Naruto's right leg went up in an arc, causing Fate to release him. Landing with a crouch, Naruto jumped back when shards of ice threatened to pierce him. Fate shot high into the air, causing Naruto to follow in pursuit. Naruto's eyes widened when Fate quickly turned to him, sending multiple stone pillars at him. Naruto flipped over one and began to run up it toward Fate. Fate brought his leg down in a wide arc, causing Naruto jump back to avoid. Fate smiled as Naruto landed. Naruto made to move, but his eyes widened when the ground started to drag him in like quicksand. Fate grabbed Naruto's shoulder and smirked. Naruto's eyes widened as Fate exploded. Naruto flew of the pillars and fell to the ground. Slowly opening one eye, Naruto stared at the stone pillars as he fell. He fixed himself while in the air and activated Chidori. The Chidori expanded, creating a bird that Naruto landed on. The bird hovered in air, flapping its wings while Naruto searched for Fate. The large pillars of stone shot past his and crashed to the ground. Naruto saw Fate and was about to shoot at him when Fate shot multiple arrows of earth at him. Naruto maneuvered the Chidori bird past the arrows. "You've forgotten the girls. Something's not right. The boy's energy is fading." Naruto nodded in agreement. He looked at the group below him. Fate slowly began to fade away. Naruto's eyes widened as the skies slowly turned white. "What is this?" he thought as he examined his surroundings. He looked around and realized that the only thing there were large white circular platforms. Naruto suddenly heard violin music and he cringed in pain. His ears began to bleed, and surprised by this, Naruto created the shield around himself. He could still hear the music, but the magic that was causing him pain disappeared. "Remember, the limit is only 4 minutes. Kyuubi warned. Naruto stayed silent but mentally nodded. The shield, unlike his other card abilities, wasn't a number of times card. He had a set time he could use it at full power. Currently it was at 4 minutes. This meant that any time he activated the shield that it would begin to count down. The music stopped and Naruto released the shield. He quickly sensed a magic source far from his location. He activated Chidori and shot a large bird in the direction. The bird left a trail of lightning that Naruto held in his hand like leash. He flew at the energy source at a speed close to Mach 1 before seeing a figure in the distance. Naruto controlled the bird and it charged at the person. He flipped back, letting the leash go. He brought his hands in a downward motion, creating multiple totem poles that dropped in front of him. He crossed his arms and waved his arms out. The poles shot at the pillar the person was standing on. He saw the bird crash into a wall that suddenly appeared out of nowhere. The poles smashed into the wall, shattering it into pieces that disappeared. Naruto saw a torrent of flames surround him. He activated the shield, reflecting the flames. He began to hear music and activated Chidori. He ignored the pain and searched for the location of the noise. He saw 2 girls now. One of them was playing a violin while the other stared at him. He saw flames appear out of nowhere. I have to use the shield up, he thought with a groan. The sphere appeared around him, reflecting all the magic. He could see the girls' shock as he charged at them with Chidori. The girls jumped onto another platform as Naruto landed on the same platform. He smirked as they backed away, but the smirk disappeared when the Chidori in his hand faded away. He stared at his arm and slowly brought it up. His entire right arm was numb and was twitching slightly. I've used up all my Chidoris for today, Naruto thought with a frown. You were too reckless. Now figure out whose magic this dimension belongs to. Kyuubi chided. Naruto turned to the girls and created a staff. He turned to the 2 girls that were watching him and said, "Let me out of here right now or else you'll die." The girl with the violin began to play, only for Naruto to throw his staff at it, smashing it into pieces. The girl had her eyes closed, but Naruto could sense her fear as she retreated weaponless. The other girl jumped into the air and stared at Naruto. He suddenly saw a burst of flames in front of him and jumped away in time to avoid getting burned. The flames chased him, pushing him back as the girls got away. Naruto built up magic and aimed at the flames. Drowning Dance Water Binder, Naruto exclaimed as a large ball of water appeared in front of him. It seemed to dance as it collided with the flames. The smoke blocked his sight for a second before he landed on a platform passing by. Naruto saw the girls retreating before giving chase. He quickly caught up to them before shooting multiple totem poles at them. The poles crashed into platforms, causing chaos. Naruto continued to give chase. His patience was slowly running out. There were 4 girls before. If these 2 are attacking me, then the other 2 must be controlling this space. Naruto nodded his head before increasing his speed. He passed the other 2, confusing them. They quickly gave chase without thinking of his plans. He continued to travel faster and faster until he eventually activated the speed. The other 2 were watching Naruto pass their comrades and disappear. Tamaki, the girl with horns, turned to her partner. He's phased away. Can you find him? Kotomi, the black-haired girl with a tail, nodded and began to search the dimension for Naruto when they suddenly felt a presence behind them. You made me waste all my speeds to get here. The 2 jumped away as Naruto brought in hand down in an arc. Multiple totems appeared and fell from the sky. Needless to say that the platform was demolished. Naruto stood on one totem as he glared at the girls. Be careful. We had to travel 10 kilometers just to reach them. They may have other powers. Kyuubi warned. Naruto nodded, but he was angry. He couldn't sense fate anywhere. He dropped down from the pole, it disappeared, landing on a platform. He held out his left arm and began to compress magic power in the form of a small sphere. The 2 saw this and tried to back away when a large sphere trapped them. Naruto smirked and said, I may be trapped in your dimension, but now you're trapped in my shield. No magic can get in or get out. Naruto had created the shield even though the time limit had run out. The shield was now slowly draining him of his magic power. Now look here, Naruto said. This power in my palms is what most people would call an atomic bomb. Not as strong and not a wide, but in this small sphere the explosion can do a lot more damage. Not only that, as soon as I detonate it, I'll make this barrier implode, killing all 3 of us. The 2 girls were frozen. Would this man really give his life just to defeat them? Naruto inwardly smirked at their expressions. This was all a big bluff, but they didn't know that. So the question here is, he continued, do you want to see your precious Fate-sama again? Minutes passed and the girls sighed. The surrounding began to change back to the real world. The girls appeared in front of him and Fate appeared from the ground. Interesting, tell me what your name is. Fate said. Naruto smirked and raised his Pactio card. He could feel the strain from the shield. It took his energy in gallons, but with the card's magic he could continue to fight. Naruto had to thank Theodora for the card. No need for that, Fate smirked, I'm sure that we will meet again. You are interesting but eventually I will kill you. Until then farewell. Fate and his group of girls slowly faded away. Naruto continued to stare until they completely disappeared. When he was sure that they were gone he plopped down on the ground. He sighed and began to heal himself. Did I ever tell you how much I love you? He said out loud. Kyuubi's chakra head began to float around Naruto. Don't get the wrong idea. I don't roll that way and the only reason I'm helping you is because we're one being. Naruto smirked and slowly stood up. Well, that mission was a complete failure. He said looking down at his twitching right arm. Unlike Kakashi, Naruto has no limit to how many times he can use Chidori, but his arm is unable to take the electricity running through his body. So his arm went limp whenever he overused Chidori. You should have gone all out. Holding back is fine and all but not when you have to kill your bounty. I'll see Fate again, then I'll truly fight him. Naruto replied. He was going to say something else when he felt multiple magical powers. It looks like we have some guest. Kyuubi said looking at a group of hunters watching from far away. Naruto smirked as he sped toward the group. He needed something to let out his frustration on. It was time to have some fun. Earlier, the treasure hunters who were exploring the underground ruin felt a large earthquake. The ruin began to collapse, causing them to run for the exits. Craig Cladwell was the leader of the group and was supposed to be the strongest of all of them. His best friend Christian Danchecker along with their companions Lynn Garland and Aisha Coriel banded together to become the greatest treasure hunters in the world. Being treasure hunters, they were naturally curious. So when they felt the large magic powers, despite their fear they went to go and investigate. It was then that they watched a battle that they knew was completely out of their league. The black and white-haired men who were facing each other were doing things that almost seemed impossible. They watched in horror as the taller man was impaled by earth spikes. They breathed a sigh of relief when his real body flew from the ground. They watched the rest of the fight and saw the group of girls disappear with the man. The taller man sat on the ground. Let's go talk to that guy, Craig suggested. The group was about to go when a fox head made of a strange magic started to float around him. The two seemed to be in conversation before it stopped and looked at them. Craig could only say one thing when he saw the man disappear. Run. The group turned to run when the man appeared in front of them. The man crouched low and let loose a large wave of magic. So here's my question to you, the man said, asked with a monotone voice. Are you prepared to die? The hunters froze in fear as the air turned cold. A feeling of evil began to swirl around the man. Naruto looked at the group with a sneer. He brought up his arm to his face. The movement caused the group to shut their eyes awaiting the inevitable, but it never came. They slowly opened their eyes when they heard chuckling. They saw Naruto silently chuckling. You should have seen the look on your faces. Naruto smirked. Who are you? Craig asked after regaining his courage. Naruto crossed his arms and smirked. Let's scare the heck out of them. He was about to answer, but he shook his head. Naruto turned and began to walk away. He would never see them again, so why give them his name? Besides, he had to go see Theodora before returning to the Magical Academy. Mahura Academy. Neji gazed in wonder at the sights. He had never seen so many buildings in one place. Many of the girls gave him suggestive smiles and some even pinched his cheeks, calling him cute and adorable. He walked up the stairs to Mahura Academy when he saw thousands of students all running toward different locations. Not wanting to be squished, Neji had no choice but to run as well. He heard a girl with two ponytails held by bells in front of him yelling, "Takahata-sensei," over and over again. With his speed he easily passed the girl. Something inside him wanted to tell her about Takahata, so he slowed down and said, "Your love will be unrequited." He continued to run past them when he heard the girl yell, "What did you say, brat?" The girl increased her speed, surprising Neji. She grabbed Neji by the head and lifted him up. What did you say? She asked with a comical glare. I was talking about your love. It will be unrequited, Neji answered. The girl violently shook him while yelling, take it back. The girl's friend walked up to them. She smiled and said, what are you doing here, little one? The kiddie school is that way. You're heading to an all-girls school. The ponytailed girl began to shake Neji when a voice rung out. That's enough, Asuna-kun. The three looked up to see a teacher waving at them. Hey Neji-kun, long time no see. How have you been? Neji smiled at the familiar face and waved back. Long time no see, Takamichi. Neji replied. The two girls quickly greeted the teacher. You know each other? Asuna asked. Neji turned to the girls and said, I will be teaching English at this school. My name is Neji Springfield. The shock on Asuna's face was priceless. She began to torment Neji, causing him to sneeze and blow off all her clothes. Neji learned a lesson that day. Asuna liked teddy bears. Principal's office. So Neji, how do you like Mahora Academy? The principal asked. Neji smiled and expressed his enjoyment of the sights. It's a very beautiful school. He finished. Principal Sensei, is it really wise to let a kid teach a class? Asuna asked. The principal turned to Neji and his face turned serious. Neji-kun, this job will be very difficult. There will be no second chances. If it's too hard for you, then you will have to go home. Are you prepared to accept that? Neji had a determined look on his face. Yes sir, I'll do it. I won't let you or my brother down, he said with conviction. The headmaster smiled and stroked his beard. Very well, your test will be this March, and on the brighter side of things, Neji, do you have a girlfriend yet? Neji's eyes widened a little. He exclaimed. What do you think of my granddaughter? Cute, isn't she? Before Neji could answer, the girl with long black hair hit the principal with a small hammer. Oh grandpa, stop it. Kanoka mused in an innocent voice. Neji, let me introduce you to our staff guidance officer Shizuna-sensei. The principal said. A busty teacher with glasses entered and accidentally bumped into Neji with her well-endowed chest. Oh, sorry about that. If you need anything, don't hesitate to ask, she said with a calm smile. Neji turned to the principal as he pulled out a small book. Oh yes Neji, how's your older brother Naruto? He asked. The two teens in the room piped up in surprise. The brat has a brother? Asuna asked. Probably another pervert like him. She suddenly felt cold and turned to Neji, who was glaring at her. Don't insult my brother. That's the one thing I will not allow. The air slowly vanished and Neji turned to the principal. He's on a journey traveling around the world. The principal nodded. He knew what Neji actually meant. Alright then, time for living arrangements. Neji, you can stay with Kanoka and Asuna for the time being. Just until we can get you a place of your own. But principal. Asuna started. She was interrupted by Kanoka. Don't you feel bad for him? I told you already I hate little kids. You two get along now. The principal smiled. Magic world. After Naruto re-equipped himself, he traveled to the city of Ostia. His cloak was still battle-scarred and had tears through it, so he decided to get a new one. The journey was uneventful to say the least. As Naruto walked through the streets, many of the locals stopped and stared at him. He ignored them and continued on his way. What's wrong? Kyuubi asked. During the battle, even though I didn't go all out, the weakness of all my powers were made clear. Naruto created the deck of all and pulled out his cards. They all have weaknesses and I have to fix them up. So what do you plan on doing? I'm going to get even stronger. Naruto answered with a smirk. He headed for the Ostia government building, hoping to find Theodora. The building was large and made of marble. He went up to the building's reception desk, hoping to find some clues as to where the princess's whereabouts. Sadly, the reception people could not disclose her location to him. He was about to show them his Pactio card but decided not to. Leaving the building, Naruto overheard two guys talking about entering an upcoming tournament that would grant the top 10 victors entrance into the annual Nagi Cup. We should enter. It should help you find out what you need to improve, and the prize money isn't something to laugh at. Naruto shrugged and caught up to the two men. Excuse me, do you know where I can go to sign up for the upcoming tournament? The two men wearing mage clothes smirked at Naruto. The beast human answered. The semi-cup? We're heading there right now. But you might not want to enter. The beast man's friend started to laugh. It's a serious competition, you might get hurt. He chuckled. Naruto nodded and walked away. The two men continued their journey, unaware that Naruto was still following them. The dome that they enter was pretty big and would hold a lot of people. Naruto entered through the fighter's stand. The lady at the sign-up desk blushed as he walked closer. "I'd like to sign up," Naruto said. The lady continued to stare at him, finally shaking her head and asking him for his information. "What's your name?" she asked. "Naruto Springfield." The lady gasped and stared at him with wide eyes. Naruto raised a brow. Was this always going to happen? Here's your entrance pass. The tournament starts in a week. Naruto thanked the lady as he took the pass. He was walking away when a group of 8 fighters passed him and walked up to the sign-up desk. "Hey baby, after you sign me up, why don't you and me go back to my hotel room?" the leader of the group said. The lackeys all hooted and cheered. Naruto stopped and listened. "Well, how about it, hot stuff?" The lady shook her head, but her arm was grabbed by the man. "I was trying to be polite, but no one says no to me." The man made to pull the girl out of her chair when a fist collided with his jaw, breaking it. The man flew through the air and slammed into the wall. "Boss!" one of the lackeys exclaimed. Naruto walked over to the man and picked him up. The lackeys charged him. He sidestepped a weak punch and threw the boss into the men. Naruto gave another jaw-shattering punch to the guy who came from behind. The thugs backed away as Naruto crouched down, getting into a stance. He was about to get serious when the guards appeared. The guards arrested the men and thanked Naruto for the assistance. Naruto was about to walk away when someone grabbed his arm. He turned to see the lady from the desk. "Are you okay?" he asked. The girl nodded her head and hugged Naruto. "I think she has the hots for you," Kyuubi snickered. Naruto awkwardly patted her head when she let go. He began to walk away when a voice called him. "Naruto Springfield, what do you think you're doing?" a familiar voice yelled. Naruto slowly turned around to see a fuming princess stomping at him. "Princess," her aide said, "your voice. Lower your voice." Theodora completely ignored her aide's advice and marched up to Naruto. Deciding to keep his appearance, he gave a small bow and smirked. "Princess, it is an honor." Kyuubi couldn't stop snickering. "You're in so much trouble." "Mahora Academy. Here's your classroom, Negi-kun," Shizuna said. She gave Negi the class clipboard. He looked through the door window. The class was alive and active. "So I'll be teaching these girls?" Negi thought with a gulp. "Try to remember all the names and faces quickly, okay?" Negi nodded and stood in front of the door. "My heart is pounding. I'm really nervous." His thoughts went back to his family. He saw his sister and Anya waving at him. They were pushing him forward. He turned around and saw Naruto walking away from him. He tried to run and catch up to him, but no matter how much he ran, Naruto got further and further away. "I'll never catch up to brother if I can't even face this challenge." Negi built up his courage and stepped forward. He raised his hands up and caught the falling eraser. He jumped over the tripwire and walked up to the desk. There was a pencil on it. Picking it up, he walked over to the wire and sprung the trap. Brother's pranks were a lot more sophisticated than this. Negi thought with a smile as he walked back to the desk and faced the class that was staring at him in shock. "My name is Negi Springfield. From today onwards, I'll be teaching English at this school." The class was silent. "I'll only be here for 3 terms, but it's nice to meet you all." "He's so cute," was all Negi heard before being bombarded by girls and questions. Naruto walked through the village market. He had been sent on an errand to buy groceries. "Brother, wait!" exclaimed a young Negi. Naruto turned to the little boy as he ran toward him. "I told you I could take care of this myself," Naruto said, rubbing his hair. Negi looked down, looking sheepish. "You also said that you would teach me a new magic today," Negi said with a smile. Naruto looked at the boy and smirked. "Alright, I'll teach you, but you have to do me a favor," Naruto said. Negi nodded enthusiastically. "I want you to take this list and get me some groceries," Naruto said. Negi took the list and ran into the market. "Watch where you're going," Naruto called out. He smirked when Negi completely ignored him, but it faded when he heard a yelp. Groaning, Naruto walked in after Negi. When he finally reached the boy, he folded his arms. Negi was being held up by a collar by a large man. "Let me go," Negi exclaimed while struggling. "Brother, help." Naruto walked toward the two, causing many of the people watching to turn towards him. "Hey, that's Naruto Springfield," a bystander said. "He's the greatest genius of our time," another said. "Can I ask what the problem is?" Naruto asked when he reached them. "This little brat bumped into me and caused me to drop all my things," the large man said, motioning to the large pile of ruined food. Naruto palmed his forehead and sighed. He reached into his pocket and pulled out a few bills. "This should cover for the groceries," Naruto said, handing them over. The man nodded before dropping Neji on his butt. Naruto looked at Neji and picked him up by the collar. "Now we have to explain to Nikkane why we need more money," Naruto said with a slight shiver. "I don't want to be you right now." Naruto dragged Neji all the way home with the little boy struggling to escape. The entire time Naruto had a smirk on his face. Neji woke with a start. He had been daydreaming near a large statue. This year had been hard for him. "I really wish I could see brother," Neji thought with a frown. His life at this school was far from boring. Neji recalled his life as the English and homeroom teacher of Mahora Academy Class 2A. "My name is Neji Springfield. From today onwards, I'll be teaching English at this school." The class was silent. "I'll only be here for 3 terms, but it's nice to meet you all." "He's so cute," was all Neji heard before being bombarded by girls and questions. As the girls bombarded him with questions, a rough had pulled Neji up. "Hey, how did you know about that prank? Huh, answer me." The girl known as Asuna demanded, shaking him. Neji was starting to not like this girl at all. "Cut that out this instant," a commanding voice yelled. The class turned to a beautiful girl with long blonde hair. "Everyone return to your seats. You're all making trouble for sensei." The girl turned to Asuna and Neji. "Let him go, Asuna. You look like a violent monkey right now." "What did you say?" Asuna growled. Neji watched this with confusion. How would brother deal with this situation? He thought to himself. The thought of his brother gave Neji strength. He glared and pulled Asuna's hands off him. "Please stop this," Neji said with fierce determination. Asuna's eyes widened at the look in the boy's eyes. "Neji-sensei, you graduated from the prestigious Oxford Academy. Am I correct?" the blonde-haired girl asked. Neji nodded. "Teaching has nothing to do with age, so please ignore the monkey," enticing another growl from Asuna, and continue with homeroom. "Ah, thank you," Neji said with shock. "This girl is so mature," he thought. His thoughts were interrupted when he heard Asuna call the blonde girl a Shotokan, one who likes little boys. The girl seemed to have lost all control and attacked Asuna. Neji watched the two fight as the rest of the class began to make bets. "I should really stop this," he thought, but before he could make a sound. "It's time for class, girls," Shizuna said, receiving the entire class's attention. "I'll leave it to you, Neji-sensei," she finished with a smile. Neji walked to the desk and looked at the class. He saw their expecting faces and looked down. "What are you waiting for?" Neji thought to himself. "I can't let brother, sister, and Anya down. Before we start, I would like to tell you a little about myself. My name is Neji Springfield. I have 2 siblings, a brother and sister. I like many things such as reading and dislike a few things such as people who insult my family. My dream is to catch up to my brother and earn his respect." Neji had said the last part with so much passion that many of the girls were staring at him in awe. "No, let's begin by going to chapter 128. The coolness Neji was exuding instantly disappeared when he turned around to face the blackboard, only to find out that he couldn't reach. After getting a stepping stool, Neji spent the rest of the class period dodging pieces of erasers from a certain girl with bells in her head. "I guess I failed that first day," Neji said out loud with a sigh. The next thing that had surprisingly happened on the same day. Neji was going through the class roll chart and had just drawn horns on Asuna's face. He saw a student that he recognized from his chart. "Number 27, Miyazaki Nodoka-san," he said out loud. "Should she be carrying that many books?" His question was answered when the girl tripped and fell. Neji quickly summoned his staff and caused the girl to levitate. But what he didn't know was that a certain Asuna was watching. She watched as Neji disappeared and reappeared underneath Nodoka. "Are you okay, Miyazaki-san?" Neji asked. He turned when he heard footsteps and froze. There, looking at him with an incredulous look, was Asuna. Surprisingly, Asuna was a kind girl after all, Neji thought to himself as he looked at the roll chart. He looked over the chart again and thought of all the weird adventures he had with Class 2A. It was too bad that his class had failed the test. Neji stood up and started to walk away from the school. "Brother, sister, I'm coming home," Neji thought with a sad smile as he looked at his favorite picture. It had Naruto and Nikkane together. Nikkane was holding Naruto's arms with a smile, while Naruto had a small yet effective smile. "Even though I couldn't become a great mage, everyone tried their best, so I'm glad." "One child ticket to Shinjuku," Neji said to the ticket manager. He was about to enter the train when he heard yelling. Negi-sensei, wait, there was a mistake, you can stay. Negi turned to the noise to see his class all charging at him. Before he could run, he was tackled by Asuna. Negi baka, we said wait, she exclaimed. Negi looked up to see the principal walking toward him. It seems that there was a misunderstanding, Negi-kun. I marked your class's tests myself and forgot to add them to the Class 2A rankings. So adding them, your class is on top. Negi couldn't believe his ears. He suddenly saw Naruto walking away from him, but he felt closer. The Naruto walking away raised his arm and gave a thumb up. Negi looked at the faces of all his students and gave a large smile. Naruto flipped over Negi and landed behind him on both hands. With a smirk, Naruto began to spin, causing Negi's eyes to widen. Naruto's legs collided with Negi, sending him flying. He flipped up straight and shot after Negi. Naruto grabbed Negi's feet and began to spin him in midair. The air began to swirl around the two as Naruto picked up speed. A minute passed and Naruto landed with a purple Negi on his shoulder. Naruto smirked as he dropped Negi. The boy tried to stand up only to fall back to the ground. Everything spinning. Negi groaned with swirls in his eyes. Naruto smiled and began to walk away. Negi, who was still in a world of dizziness, laid there groaning. Naruto returned after a few minutes carrying a small paper bag. Negi, whose headache had passed, slowly stood up and glared at Naruto. That was mean, brother. Negi said. Naruto patted the boy's hair and walked past him. Negi instantly followed. The two walked down to the pond that was close to their house. Naruto sat close to the water, motioning for Negi to do the same. When Negi had sat, Naruto pulled out a bar of ice cream and handed it to the boy. Negi took it with gratitude, but with a hint of confusion. Your cousin gave them to me. Naruto explained. She said that you shouldn't work too hard. Negi nodded and began to eat the ice cream with a smile. Naruto couldn't help but smile as he watched Negi eat the ice cream. The boy was still a little boy at heart. Turning to Naruto with an ice cream-covered face, Negi smiled and said, "She's your cousin too, brother." It was a simple statement, but it caused Naruto to smile. He shook his head and bopped Negi on the head. I know that, baka, but… Naruto stopped and paused to think. How would he tell Negi that his cousin liked him, and that calling her his cousin caused him to feel awkward? Naruto smirked and shook the thought away. Just eat your ice cream, he said as the two returned to a peaceful silence. Naruto slowly awoke. He looked around, examining his surroundings. He was inside a bus. You fell asleep, Kyuubi said, causing Naruto to roll his eyes. Naruto stretched and recalled what had happened. He was on his way to Mahora Academy. While he was on his way for a mission, Naruto had to admit that he was happy to see Negi. Naruto remembered his past year in the magical world. She's still mad at you. I'm actually surprised that the redness hasn't faded yet. She packs quite a slap. Quote. Naruto nodded as rubbed his cheek. I have to make things right. I can't have people thinking that I hurt the princess. I have a reputation to keep. Kyuubi snickered. You have a reputation? Ha, after what she did to you, your reputation is the least of your worries. You hurt the princes emotionally. I'm surprised that they haven't sent the entire army to capture you. Hey, the way she attacked you, I could have sworn that she was a demon incarnate. Naruto rolled his eyes as he walked through the streets. He recalled the event as he reached the Ostia government building. Naruto, Springfield, what do you think you're doing? A familiar voice yelled. Naruto slowly turned around to see a fuming princess stomping at him. Princess, her aide said, your voice. Lower your voice. Theodora completely ignored her aide's advice and marched up to Naruto. Deciding to keep his appearance, he gave a small bow and smirked. Princess, it is an honor. Kyuubi couldn't stop snickering. You're in so much trouble. Naruto gulped as he quickly took a few steps back. The look in Theodora's eyes actually scared him. She marched up to him and grabbed his collar. Naruto saw a hand fly at him, but for some universally strange reason he couldn't block it. The princess's hand smacked him with so much force that he could taste blood. Naruto slowly felt his cheek that stung as he glared at the princess. That was a bad move. The guards that were watching with amused expressions readied their weapons. Naruto ignored them as he continued to glare at the princess. She was holding her hand as if Naruto had bitten it. She shut her eyes before trying to slap Naruto again. Her hand was quickly caught in Naruto's. He would not be slapped again. Not with the pain he was feeling already. The princess attacked Naruto with a barrage of slaps which were all dodged. Naruto was amazed at the speed and precision she attacked him. As the attacks continued, Naruto grew annoyed. The princess seemed to have nothing on her mind except causing Naruto pain. The most annoying part though was the laughter of an annoying fox. This is too funny. Look at you, the great Naruto being pushed back by a princess who can't even fight. Wanna switch places? Naruto thought as he flipped back in time to avoid a sweep kick. No, it's too funny from where I am. The day ended with Naruto somehow getting away. He never got the chance to explain to the girl. The receptionist glared at him. Naruto raised a hiding eyebrow at the man. He tried to walk past the desk when the man scoffed at him. Deciding not to sock the guy, Naruto walked to the elevator. He pushed the top floor button and leaned back against the wall. When he reached the top floor and examined the room, he saw two people, the princess and a man with short black hair. "I'm here, Princess Theodora," Naruto said with a calm voice. The man smiled at him and Theodora just glared. Said princess looked at Naruto before looking back down to the paperwork on her desk. "Naruto Springfield, I have a very important mission for you," Theodora said in a businesslike manner. Naruto nodded and folded his arms. "Get ready for it," Kyuubi smirked. Naruto waited for the mission but it never came. "Hello Naruto-kun, I am Ishin Kano and the chief of the Kansai Magic Association." Naruto nodded and shook the man's hand. "The reason I'm here is because I'm the one who requested you for this mission." Naruto stayed silent but nodded. "I know that your brother Neji is currently teaching at the school where my daughter goes." This caused Naruto's eyebrow to rise. "While this school is a great school, I'm afraid that it might be in danger this upcoming year." "What does that mean?" Naruto asked. "Allow me to tell you a secret. The Kansai and Kanto Magic Associations used to have a feud. This really isn't a secret, but the secret is how the feud ended. I married the daughter of the Kano family in a political marriage. This ended the hostility from both sides." Naruto simply nodded again. While everything seemed fine, there were a few who still held hostility to both families. "My daughter has been attacked many times because of something she had no control of." Naruto froze as he stared at the man. "I sent her to the non-magic world in hopes that she could live a normal life. But somehow those who wish her harm have found her." "Your mission," Theodora said, "is to go to the school and keep her under watch and learn who and or where these assassins are coming from." She looked back down after finishing. "I've already made arrangements for you to be there when the new semester starts. That way you'll have some time to do what you need to do." Ishin said. "So do you accept the mission?" Theodora asked. Naruto simply nodded. "You'll have to revoke my entrance into the tournament. I'll be leaving for a training trip tomorrow," Naruto said, causing Theodora's eyes to widen. Since this is a long-range mission, you'll be paid monthly once you're there," she explained. Naruto nodded but looked at Ishin, who was bowing to him. "Please protect my daughter, Naruto-kun." Naruto bowed back and watched him leave. Before he entered the elevator, he turned and said, "I sent her to the school with a guardian. Her name is Setsuna Sakurazaki." Naruto looked at the elevator as it closed. There was an awkward silence in the room. "I'm sorry," Theodora said, looking down. Naruto's neck twisted so fast a crack could be heard, causing him to groan in pain. "You're apologizing?" he asked, rubbing his neck. "I kind of overreacted back there, and I know that you aren't the kind of guy that goes around looking for girls to get with. So I take full responsibility for what happened," she said, looking into Naruto's eyes. He smiled and walked around her desk. He picked her up and held her close, causing her to turn a darker shade. "I'm your knight in shining armor," Naruto said, pulling out his Pactio card. The two drew closer to each other and their lips were about to touch when the elevator opened. The two quickly broke apart, with Naruto dropping Theodora on the ground. "Smooth," Kyuubi smirked, causing Naruto to palm his head. "Naruto Springfield," Theodora exclaimed in annoyance. Naruto just groaned. "Whoa, did I interrupt something?" a large voice said. Naruto and the annoyed princess turned to see the infamous Jack Rakan walking towards them. "What do you want, idiot?" Theodora exclaimed in an un-princess-like manner. Rakan held his arms out in a defensive manner. "I just came here to talk to him," he said, pointing at Naruto. "Ishin told me that he was going on a training trip and asked if I could help him." "What kind of help?" Naruto asked, folding his arms. Rakan smirked and waved a finger. "You'll have to pay me first." 1 year later. I never did say goodbye, Naruto thought as the bus pulled to a stop. I have to admit Rakan knew how to teach. As I expected from your father's former teammate, Kyuubi said. Naruto nodded in agreement. Naruto had changed high look. He now wore a black suit. Who would have thought that he would teach us something interesting, Naruto said out loud. He stepped off the bus and saw a familiar face. Hello Donut. Naruto greeted. There waiting for him was no other than Donut McGinnis. She walked up to him and hugged him. Naruto-kun, has it really been a year? You look a lot stronger, she said with a smile. Didn't you say that last time we met? Naruto said with a small smile. Donut chuckled and began to lead the way. I did, but you really do look stronger now. I really like this girl, Kyuubi said, causing Naruto smirk. The two reached the academy where Naruto was led to the principal's office. Naruto-kun, I was expecting you earlier, the principal said. Naruto smirked and folded his arms. I was held back by some unexpected forces, he said. The principal rubbed his large beard. I hope you didn't have any problems, he said. Nothing I couldn't deal with, Naruto replied. The door opened and Shizuna walked in. Oh Naruto, you're here, she said with a smile. So Naruto, you'll be helping Neji with his classes? The principal asked. Naruto shrugged his shoulders. They knew his mission and he had already decided to act as a teacher. I'll just act as an assistant, Naruto said. He crossed his arms and looked at the two. By the way, where is Neji? Seeing as how I'll be living with him, I should know where he lives. The two looked at each other before looking back at him. Naruto raised an eyebrow at their antics. Something told him that he wouldn't like their answer. The kid gets more girls than you? Kyuubi joked. Naruto scoffed and looked at the sky. He sat next to a large statue and began to read the air. For a non-magic school, this school has a lot of magic signatures, Naruto thought. The two spent a few more minutes before Naruto decided to go find an apartment to live in. He made sure to find one with 2 beds. He had already decided that Neji would be living with him. He found a nice building close to the school. It was probably a 5 to 8 minute walk to the school depending on his speed. Naruto unpacked his belongings and decided to go exploring. This city isn't so bad, Kyuubi said. Naruto looked at a group of girls that were blushing at him. He gave them a smirk, causing them to giggle. So we start school in tomorrow? Kyuubi asked. Naruto mentally nodded. The two reached a small restaurant and decided to eat dinner. Naruto was halfway done when a kind voice said, "May I join you?" Recognizing the magic signature, Naruto nodded without looking up. To what do I owe the pleasure, Donut? Naruto asked in between bites. Donut just smiled. A waiter came by and took her order. I was actually hoping to find you, she said. Naruto looked at the woman's gentle smile and smiled back. The two spent the rest of the day together. I think someone likes you, Kyuubi joked later that night. Naruto smirked and headed off to bed. We should find the girl Setsuna. If she is supposed to be that girl's guardian, then it's best if we get to know her. Naruto was about to go to sleep when he sensed a dark energy and heard a girl scream. With a groan, Naruto left his room and traveled to the energy source. When he reached the place, he was surprised to find no one there. But he did sense a strange power. I sense a vampire, Kyuubi said with glee. Naruto smirked. You seem happy, why is that? We're eventually going to have to fight it, so forgive me if I'm excited. Naruto crossed his arms and looked at the moon. It was almost full, meaning that the vampire would have a strength boost. Instead of feeling fear, he felt excitement. I've been hanging around you too much, he said with a smirk. Neji entered his classroom and was greeted with a loud, third-year Class A Neji-sensei. Neji stood at the desk and looked around the room. I'm now the formal teacher for third-year Class A. My name is Neji Springfield. As your teacher from now to March of next year, it will be a pleasure to teach you all. Yes, please take care of us, yelled most of the class. That also reminds me. All teachers were giving a special announcement that we will have a special teacher who will help out in every class from time to time. Whoever it is will be visiting us today, Neji said. As the class began to talk among each other, Neji felt a strange gaze. He looked around the classroom, but the presence disappeared. Neji-sensei, sorry to interrupt, but I would like you to meet the new teacher's assistant, Shizuna said, walking in. The entire class looked at the sensei as she moved away from the door to reveal a handsome black and white hair man with 3 scars on each side of his face and diamond blue eyes. Neji froze as the figure silently walked in and stared at him. I guess you've grown, Neji, I was half expecting you to run and give me a hug, Naruto said with a smirk. The entire class looked at the handsome man in confusion. In an instant Neji was across the classroom hugging the stranger. Who is that? Asuna whispered to Kanoka, who shook her head. After Neji released Naruto, he walked back to his desk and turned to the class. Everyone, I would like you to meet my older brother, he said. The class gasped as Naruto walked to the desk. His smile had disappeared, leaving a serious expression. My name is Naruto Springfield. It's a pleasure to meet all of you. Thank you for taking care of my little brother. The class was silent. How old are you? A random girl asked. I'm 16, Naruto answered, crossing his arms. Are you single? Another student asked. Yes, I am, he answered again. What kind of girls do you like? Depends, Naruto answered, raising an eyebrow. Are you like Neji? I mean, are you a genius like him? Neji decided to answer. Nisan graduated from his university in less than a year. If anyone is qualified for a job, it's him. How big are you? Shizuna decided to interrupt then. Neji-kun, I need your class to get their health checkups. Please tell everyone to prepare accordingly. Neji nodded and turned to his class. Well, everyone, we're going to have a health checkup, so please take off your clothes. Naruto raised an eyebrow and Kyuubi burst out laughing. Naruto and Neji walked out of the classroom with Neji bright red. That was an interesting welcome, Naruto said when they were out. He was hugged by Neji, who was comically crying. He messed up the boy's hair and smiled. You've really grown, huh Neji? Naruto said. Neji looked at his role model and smiled. How come you're here, brother? Neji asked. Naruto quickly explained his mission and asked Neji to see his role chart. He quickly found the two girls he had been looking for. Setsuna Sakurazaki and Kanoka Kano, Naruto thought before looking at the marking Neji had made. He kissed both twins? Kyuubi asked with a slight proud feeling. You kissed both twins? Naruto asked, looking back into the room. Neji could only poke his fingers together while staring down. Inside the classroom, did you guys see his face? I know, he's so cute and cool. He acts nothing like Neji-kun. He had the air of a warrior. I still think Neji-kun is cuter. You would think that Shota. So did you guys hear about the rumors? Outside classroom, Naruto and Neji were waiting outside the door when a student came yelling. Sensei, we've got a problem. Meiki is. What happened to Meiki? Exclaimed Asuna, who with the other girls in the class appeared all dressed in their underwear. I'm going to like this school. Naruto rolled his eyes and silently followed Neji. The girl named Meiki was in a spell sleep. She was probably the one attacked last night. If that's the case, then why couldn't I find her? Naruto thought. We'll have to be careful, this vampire could be the one who is after that girl. Naruto mentally nodded and left the room. Neji decided to follow him. Brother, I sensed a small amount of magical energy from her. It most likely means that someone attacked her using magic, Neji deduced to his brother. Naruto silently nodded and the two walked away, silently watched by Asuna. So there is something going on, she said to herself before heading back inside. Later that night, students were walking home and Nodoka walked through Sakura Lane. She suddenly saw a dark figure but fainted from fright. The figure went to attack when it heard a yell. Hold it right there. Arrows of wind, exclaimed Neji. 17 arrows shot at the small dark figure, only to be reflected by a barrier of ice. Neji dodged all the arrows and landed next to Nodoka. He quickly picked her up and jumped back in time to avoid a rain of ice spears. That was an interesting display of strong magic, the figure said, removing her hat. Neji quickly recognized the girl as Evangeline from his class. Let's exchange greetings, after all it is the begging of the term. To have such power even though you're only 10, it's to be expected from that Mon's son. Quote, without giving Neji a chance to speak, Evangeline threw two small tubes at Neji that exploded, releasing ice shards everywhere. Neji quickly released a large pulse of magic that blocked the shards. Impressive, Evangeline smirked before trying to attack. A large bird made of lighting, giving off multiple chirping, shot at her. She was barely able to dodge the attack. If I had made the attack any faster, you would have died, a strange voice said. Naruto landed in front of Neji, causing him to gasp. Brother, he exclaimed. The statement caused Evangeline to glare. Looks like I'll have to retreat, she said with a smirk. Naruto smirked before following her. Neji turned when he heard Asuna and Kanoka. He gasped when he saw them running toward him. Neji-kun's the vampire, Kanoka exclaimed. No, That's a misunderstanding. I'll leave Miyazaki-san to you guys. I'm going after the one who's been causing this. There's no need to worry. Go home first thing, I'm off. Neji dashed off at a speed most humans couldn't comprehend. You should make this easier on yourself and give up, Naruto taunted. He flipped over multiple shards of ice. He jumped into the air flipping over a large ice shard. Naruto began to gather magic in his hand. The lighting cackled and chirped. Evangeline threw 3 tubes at him. Naruto smashed the tubes with the Chidori. He wasn't expecting to suddenly freeze and fall to the ground. What is this? He thought in shock. Before crashing to the ground he was caught by Neji. Brother, are you okay? Neji exclaimed. Naruto tried moving his body but could only get a few shakes. My body is completely frozen, he thought. Go after her. Naruto managed to blurt out. Neji nodded and sped off after the vampire. Neji flew on his broom into the air to see a large dot disappearing at high speeds. She's no ordinary mage. She can fly without a broom, Neji thought before speeding after her. The frozen Naruto on the ground burst into multiple crows that flew off into the night. Neji had finally caught up to her and cornered her when a figure fell from above. Well then how about trying some of that magic that you're so good at, Evangeline taunted. Neji tried to cast a spell only to be smacked in the face. He stood up and recognized the girl. The girl had 2 antennas sticking out of her head. Let me introduce my partner class 3A number 10 Chachimaru Karakuri. What? She's your partner? Neji exclaimed, I don't even have one. Every time Neji tried to cast a spell he would be smacked. What did I teach you, Neji? A voice said from above them. Naruto instantly appeared in between Neji and Chachimaru. He delivered a kick so fast that no one saw it. Chachimaru flew straight into Evangeline. I won't forget this sensei. Evangeline said as the two disappeared into the darkness. Asuna landed next to Neji. You idiot, why were you trying to act all cool and catch the bad guys like that? What would have happened if I wasn't able to get you back? You idiot, be silent, Naruto said in a cold tone. Asuna glared at him. He does not need to be babied. He is a mage regardless of his age. He has more power than you. In fact, fighting with you would have held him back. Who are you, idiot? What gives you the right to say that stuff? I'm only trying to help. Asuna rebutted. Neji looked at Naruto, who stared back. Is this the woman who found out about your magic? Neji slowly nodded. Naruto sighed and started to chant. Why didn't you erase her memory before? Negi's eyes widened as Naruto held up a palm in front of Asuna. Hey, you can't erase my memory. The girl exclaimed, trying to back away. The light around Naruto's hand grew, causing Asuna to cover her face. When the light disappeared, Asuna looked at him. Didn't you erase my memory? She asked, causing Naruto's eyes to widen. She cancelled your magic. How? Kyuubi asked. I see you are a strange one. I see why you didn't erase her memory, Neji. Or is it because you couldn't? Naruto asked with a smirk. Take her home and spend the last night wherever you are living. In the morning pack your bags. Where am I going? Neji asked with uncertainty. Naruto looked up at the almost full moon. You'll be living with me, Naruto answered. He turned to Neji and bent down to his level. You did well and I'm proud of you. Neji began to get teary-eyed and hugged his brother. Naruto stood up and walked away, leaving Neji with Asuna. Your brother is a jerk, Asuna pouted. Neji looked at her and smiled. It's hard to tell, but he was trying to keep you away from danger. He said all those mean things and even tried to erase your memories so you wouldn't try to interfere. Asuna looked at Neji, then to the place Naruto had walked off. She couldn't help but smile. I guess he's not that bad, she said, but I bet he's an even bigger perv than you. Naruto suddenly sneezed. Some girl's talking about you, Kyuubi said. Let's just find her and go, he thought. The two walked deeper into the woods when they came upon a log cabin. I sense her here, Naruto thought. He knocked on the door and waited a few seconds before it opened. Standing there was a girl with antennas sticking out of her head. Since you're her, I'm guessing that your master is too, Naruto said with a cocky smirk. Naruto suddenly sneezed. Some girl's talking about you, Kyuubi said. Let's just find her and go, he thought. The two walked deeper into the woods when they came upon a log cabin. I sense her here, Naruto thought. He knocked on the door and waited a few seconds before it opened. Standing there was a girl with antennas sticking out of her head. Since you're her, I'm guessing that your master is too, Naruto said with a cocky smirk. Naruto brought a small cup of tea to his face. He gently sniffed it before placing it back on the plate. Evangeline, who was sitting straight across from him, gently sipped her own tea. Poison tea, classic, Kyuubi smirked. He looked at Chachimaru, who was standing near the kitchen door. She had an expressionless face as she stared at Naruto. "Is everything alright, Naruto-sensei?" she asked. Naruto's eyes slightly twitched as he gave a small smile. "No, nothing's wrong. It's just that this tea has a peculiar flavor," Naruto answered. He held the tea up. "Would you like to taste it?" Chachimaru walked toward him and took the tea. Naruto watched with a raised eyebrow as she finished the tea. "So the antennas aren't just for show," Kyuubi said. Naruto stayed silent as the said android poured him more tea. "Why are you here?" Evangeline asked with a smirk. "Or are you just interested in me?" Naruto ignored Kyuubi's snickering and crossed his arms. "I actually came here to warn you," Naruto said, closing his eyes. Eva's smirk disappeared. "Here's the thing. I could care less about your curse. What I do care about is Negi's well-being, and obviously you plan on hurting that." Eva's cup broke as she stared at Naruto. At the sound of cracking, Naruto slowly opened his eyes. "I won't interfere with your mission," this surprised Eva. "Neji has to get stronger and I can see that you'll help him." "Don't underestimate me, human," Eva snarled, revealing her fangs. Naruto simply smirked. "You aren't the one I'm after, so as long as Negi's life stays well and I don't find any dead bodies, everything will be fine," he rebuked. Naruto stood up and prepared to leave. "And besides, you aren't the only demon here," Naruto said. His eyes flashed red for a split second. "Just so you know, I will kill you," Eva said, snapping her fingers. Chachimaru brought her another cup of tea. She took a sip and said, "Also, wouldn't you like to know who's after that girl?" Naruto stopped. "What?" he asked. "She got you in check," Kyuubi chuckled. "It's obvious that you aren't here for just a visit. There have been a few unsightly visitors, but don't worry. I helped take care of them." Naruto crossed his arms and leaned against the door. He sighed and looked at Eva, who had a superior smirk on her face. "So why are you telling me this, and what do you want for the info?" Naruto asked. "I want payment, of course. After all, I did the job you were supposed to do. I want your blood," Eva said with a finger on her chin. She seemed to glide next to Naruto before wrapping her arms around his neck. She gently licked his cheek, causing a slight tingle. Naruto raised an eyebrow. He was half expecting that, but it still felt strange all the same. Later that night, Naruto groaned as Kyuubi continued his constant laughter. "You have really nice blood. Ha, you should have seen your face. I could have sworn you were a seedless strawberry." Naruto groaned as the taunting continued. Worse was the fact that he felt woozy from all the blood loss. Needless to say, he didn't get much sleep. Morning 2 o'clock. Naruto's eyes snapped open. He slowly crept out of bed and quickly stretched. He quickly dressed and yawned. He still felt a little woozy from the blood loss. "We'll need to hurry," Kyuubi said with a yawn. Naruto left the building and traveled to Mahura Academy. He followed a strong magic signal until he reached one of the girl dorms. He arrived in time to see a shadowy scaling up the side of the building. "Wow, that is a professional," Kyuubi said with a smirk. "Let's just get this over with. I want to go back to bed," Naruto thought in annoyance. Naruto created a totem staff and threw it straight at the assassin. The figure flipped over the staff and landed on the ground in a crouched position. "Can I help you?" Naruto asked with a glare, walking over the crouched figure. The figure stayed silent and still. Naruto went to move when his body quickly lost all movement. "We felt a new power enter the school grounds," the figure said. Naruto watched the person rise and remove their cloak. The girl was young, about his age. She had short, spiky blue hair and a devious smirk as she stared down Naruto. "So we decided to set a trap for you," another voice said from behind. Naruto heard footsteps until they stopped behind him. "Who would have thought that you'd fall for it?" the voice finished. By the pitch of the voice, Naruto could tell that it belonged to a girl. Naruto suddenly felt a cold metal pierce his heart. He coughed up blood and blew up into multiple birds. "What? Where did he go?" exclaimed the blue-haired girl. The other girl jumped into the air, hoping to get a bird's eye view. When she landed, she motioned to the other girl to cast a protection spell. When the two girls were surrounded by a large green orb, multiple black birds landed near them. "You girls really are amateurs," Naruto said from nowhere. The two girls quickly searched the area only to find no one. They began to hear multiple birds chirping. Naruto's lighting-covered hand shot up from underneath them and grabbed the blue-haired girl's leg, earning him a shriek of pain. The girl fell to the ground paralyzed. Her barrier disappeared, leaving the other girl to jump away in fright. Naruto slowly rose from the ground and examined the other girl. She had short green hair much like her comrade and wore the same cloak. "I'll give you one chance," Naruto said, creating a Chidori bird. "Tell me who sent you and where they are and I'll let you live." The girl smirked and pulled out a card. Naruto recognized the card as a Pactio card and smirked as well. "Now what do you plan on doing with that?" he asked, tilting his head. The girl raised her card over her head and yelled, "Adit." A bright light began to engulf the area, causing Naruto to shield his eyes. When the light cleared, Naruto examined the girl. He was surprised to see that nothing had changed. "I don't sense any magic increases or a power increase," Kyuubi said with warning in his voice. The girl stood there with a smirk and pulled out two small daggers. She charged at Naruto, causing him to smirk. "Has the girl lost her mind?" Kyuubi asked with an identical smirk. The girl slashed at Naruto's side. He smoothly sidestepped the attack and was about to retaliate with his Chidori when a large gash appeared on his side. Naruto quickly jumped back in shock but was chased by the girl. She made another wide horizontal strike that Naruto easily dodged. His eyes widened again when another large gash appeared on his chest. The Chidori faded as he fell to his knees from the pain. "Get away from the girl now," Kyuubi exclaimed. Naruto glared at the girl and waved the air in front of him. A large totem pole appeared from nowhere and slammed into the girl, completely crushing her. Naruto slowly stood up and examined his wounds. What was that? He thought, pulling out a card. Naruto examined the card before activating it. It was one of his new all cards. He called this one the Life because it had the ability to heal life-fatal injuries as long as they were within 24 hours. He could only use the card 3 times a day because a single use of the card took at least 1/3 of his magic. Naruto quickly healed the 2 large gashes. Luckily, healing smaller wounds like these doesn't cost so much, he thought as he examined the scene. That other girl should be alive, I only paralyzed her. Naruto suddenly grunted in pain when multiple gashes appeared on his back. He fell on his knees only to be slammed by a large unknown force. Naruto grunted as he skidded on the ground. "How pathetic," a voice said. Naruto slowly looked up to see the same green-haired girl he had killed earlier floating in the air. The girl spun her 2 daggers before throwing them at Naruto. Naruto went to dodge the daggers when another large force hit him from behind. The daggers impaled him in the chest, causing his eyes to glaze over. Naruto fell to the ground unmoving. The 2 assassins landed next to his body with smirks on their faces. "He's dead now," the green-haired girl said, retrieving her 2 daggers. She gave Naruto a hard kick to the gut. The blue-haired girl shook her head and looked at Naruto. "Shame, he was kind of cute," she said. "Shut up, Ayumi," the green-haired girl snapped. The girl named Ayumi rolled her eyes before following her partner. The 2 girls began to walk away when Naruto's body blew up into multiple birds. "How is this possible?" exclaimed the green-haired girl. Ayumi pulled out a small capsule and tossed it into the air. "He's in the ground again," she exclaimed, jumping into the air. She pulled out her card and summoned her weapon. In her hands were large red gauntlets attached to each other with chains. She pointed her fists at the ground and an invisible force of power slammed into the ground. A large crack appeared but revealed no one. "He's not there?" questioned the green-haired girl. She pulled out her card and activated it. Ayumi slowly faded away. "Flans saltatio pulveria, blow forth, dancing dust," a calm voice said. The green-haired girl yelled as a large wind started to blow on her. "Tanaka, release your card," Ayumi exclaimed. The green-haired girl Tanaka tried to release her power just as the wind grew. The wind started to spin around Tanaka. She yelled in pain before being blown away like paper. "Tanaka," Ayumi yelled, trying to go after her partner. "I see, so that's your power," Naruto said, appearing in front of Ayumi. "Your partner turns into a specter-like human and exists in a different plane. That's why even though I dodged her attacks she could still hit me. I'm also guessing that she can turn others like you invisible." He held up a card and glared at the girl, who slightly backed away. "You 2 aren't the only ones who have that kind of power, Adit," Naruto exclaimed. A large black cloak with red eyes appeared on Naruto. His entire outfit had changed and he now wore the same clothes on his Pactio card. Naruto smirked and put his left arm inside his cloak. Let's begin. Naruto disappeared and appeared next to Ayumi. He delivered a powerful sidekick to the girl's gut. Ayumi flew and landed before skidding to a halt. Iaculatio fulguris, lightning spears. She was instantly pierced with several enormous lances made of lighting. Naruto appeared next to her with his right hand glowing dark red. He raised his hand to give the final blow when two daggers flew at him. Naruto waved at the daggers and a dark red lighting hit them, completely disintegrating the two blades. The green-haired girl Tanaka landed next to Ayumi but was kicked by Naruto. She skidded on the ground before slowly standing up. She shot past Naruto toward Ayumi and grabbed her, ignoring the pain from the lighting lances. She must really care for her partner, Kyuubi said. Naruto just stared at the girls. We lost, Tanaka said after freeing Ayumi. Both girls had burns and were smoking from the lighting. They looked at Naruto, who was simply staring at them. If I see you here again, Naruto began. He raised his magical pressure. I won't hesitate to kill you. Tell whoever sent you that I will find them and I will kill them. The two girls flinched at his tone before jumping away. Naruto watched them until they disappeared. It's a good thing you put up that barrier, huh? Naruto thought, releasing his magic. What would you do without me? Kyuubi asked. A lot actually, Naruto replied with a smirk. He sighed and stretched. He was still planning to go back to sleep, so he was thankful that the barrier Kyuubi put up kept anyone without high magical power from seeing or hearing anything. Neji must be busy because he didn't show up, Naruto deduced, crossing his arms. Or maybe he was just scared, Kyuubi smirked. It doesn't matter, let's go back to sleep. Naruto could sense another magic signature watching him, but he decided to ignore it. On the rooftop was a girl holding an abnormally long sword. She had black hair and a ponytail to the side. As she watched Naruto walk away, her grip on her blade tightened. He's strong, she thought before jumping away. Hey Neji brat, wake up, it's already 8. Get the hell up, yelled Asuna. How are you going to be a good teacher if you're late yourself? Neji snuggled under his blanket. It seems I've caught a cold, he said. Asuna and Kanoka looked at each other before Asuna grabbed Negi's underwear. You have to be in class. Even if you're scared, you don't have a right not to attend, she said, roughly pulling Neji. Just leave my underwear alone, Neji exclaimed in a hysterical manner. Neji, Asuna said dangerously, what would your brother say? Silence reigned for a few seconds. I don't know, what would he say? A calm voice asked from the door. Neji looked up to see the last person he wanted to see. Evangeline, Neji exclaimed. Naruto left his apartment room feeling that something was off. Someone's following us, Kyuubi growled. Naruto inwardly nodded as he continued to walk. Put up a barrier, radius 1 mile, Naruto instructed. Kyuubi did as told and created a mile-long barrier. Naruto could feel the presence of every magical being in that barrier. None of them felt threatening or even remotely dangerous, except for one. Naruto searched the signal and traced it to the building behind him. Found you, he smirked. The signature felt familiar, but still new to him. What do you want to do? Asked Kyuubi. Naruto continued to walk, but at a slower pace. He checked the watch he was wearing. 8:10 it read. I have time to spare, Naruto thought. He stealthily looked around, making sure that no eyes were on him. He stopped and looked at the building behind him. Naruto put a large amount of magic under his feet and kicked off. Sakurazaki Setsuna was curious about the new teacher Naruto Springfield. All she knew about him was that he was Negi-sensei's older brother. Other than that, she was at a dead end. She had quickly learned that Neji was a mage because of his inability to hide and control his large magical pressure. His brother, on the other hand, was a completely different story. The man either didn't have any magic power whatsoever or he hid it so well that it was minuscule. Perhaps that was what made her suspicious. The average human, even those that didn't have magic, had a certain amount of life force magic. This magic kept them alive and worked almost the same as blood. This magic was sparse in non-magic humans because they didn't need it as much, but some had more than others. However, there were certain magic beings that didn't have magic, but only because they used a different source. Even then it could still be sensed. Setsuna decided to follow her new sensei for a while. She quickly decided to give this up as he did nothing strange or magical. He also didn't seem to be a threat. She had almost erased all suspicion when in the morning, while doing her morning training, she felt 2 enemy signatures. Sensing that they were heading for Kanoka, she prepared for battle. As she dashed there, a strange thing happened. She passed through what felt like a liquid force field. She wasn't wet, but it felt strange all the same. Returning back to her mission, Setsuna went to the roof of the dorm where she could sense the 2 magic signatures. She saw the figure and was about to attack when a staff flew from out of nowhere at the figure. She looked at the direction it came from to see none other than Naruto Springfield. Setsuna proceeded to watch Naruto toy with the assassins. She was amazed at his power and ability to stay calm even in the toughest of situations. After defeating the assassins, he proceeded to shake it off as a warm-up. This caused her to wonder just how strong he was. So after preparing herself, she decided to follow him again. He seemed to be on edge today. As if he instantly knew that he was being followed. Setsuna suddenly felt the strange barrier and looked around expecting to find an enemy. When she didn't, she continued to watch Naruto until he stopped and looked at his watch. What's he doing now? She thought to herself. Setsuna suddenly froze when Naruto turned and faced her. She felt magic power building around him just before he disappeared. Setsuna gasped when a cold metal was slid under her chin. Time for round 2, a dark voice said from behind her. Neji, brat, stop running, Asuna yelled after her sensei. Kanoka giggled as she ran after Asuna, who was running after Neji. Neji ran through the halls of the girls' dorm with hysterical tears. He was running for his life. You can't escape, a calm voice said. Neji did a quick chant before jumping into the air while turning around. He pointed his palm at the figure chasing after him. 4 arrows of light shot at the figure but were intercepted by 4 arrows of ice. Neji landed in a skid that burned the soles of his feet. He quickly turned and began to run. Neji did a second chant before doing a front flip. He shot a blast of air at the figure but gasped in shock when the hall was empty. Before Neji could finish his flip, a figure caught him by the ankle. Neji struggled, but the figure's grip was relentless. It is unwise to struggle, a robotic voice said. Neji looked up to see Chachimaru holding him up. Let go of me. Neji began. A second figure landed next to him. He paled when he saw who it was, Evangeline. Listen up, brat. I need you to come with me, Evangeline said, licking her lips. Neji paled even more. He began to trash around even more in desperate hope of escaping the iron grip. Evangeline thought this would happen and smirked. What if I told you that your brother wanted me to train you? She asked. Neji instantly stopped. No way, my brother is the only one I want to train me, Neji yelled defiantly. Evangeline smirked and snapped her fingers. Chachimaru dropped Neji, causing him to land on his head. You have until the next full moon to find a partner. Neji looked at the vampire. On that night you will fight me and my partner. If you win, then I'll agree to train you. If you fail though, Evangeline licked her lips, then I get your precious blood. Neji paled again. Evangeline began to walk away, followed by Chachimaru. Oh yeah, she called out, just so you know this was devised by your brother. Neji laid there looking up at the ceiling. He heard footsteps and looked to see Asuna and Kanoka running towards him. Neji, what's wrong? Asuna asked. Neji didn't answer. He needed to find a partner fast. Neji got up and dusted himself off. We need to hurry or else we'll be late for class, he said before walking past them. Neji clenched his fists. If brother believes that I can find my partner at this school, then I'll find the perfect partner. Neji thought with a determined glare. What was all that about? Asuna asked Kanoka. The girl just shrugged. Setsuna felt the cold metal. She was trapped and couldn't move. She was truly surprised when the blade was removed. Sakurazaki-san? The figure behind her said. Setsuna turned to see Naruto looking at her with a frown. He dropped the pocket knife in his hand. It was sucked in by an invisible hole. What are you doing here? He asked, gaining her attention. I almost took off your head. Now explain. The new semester has just started and I've already got a big problem like this. If brother really thinks that I need a partner, then. Neji-sensei, I just always thought that I wouldn't need a partner. I guess mages need partners after all. But there's no way I can find one that soon. Neji-sensei. Neji looked at the classroom. If only my destined partner was in this class right now. Sensei. Izumi said a bit louder. I've finished reading the passage. Yes, good work Izumi-san. I know it's abrupt, but I've got a question for you. If Izumi-san were to choose a partner, you'd turn down a 10-year-old boy, right? What came next could only be explained as an uproar that would have gone on for a while if the door hadn't opened. Naruto walked in followed by Setsuna. "Good afternoon Class 2A, Naruto said with a small smile. "Neji, I was speaking with Setsuna, so please excuse her absence." Setsuna slightly blushed from her seat. "Of course brother," Neji answered. It was obvious that he was trying to avoid his brother's eyes. Naruto inwardly smirked at this. Before he could speak to the rest of the class he felt a familiar presence. That stupid Ermin would be here, Kyuubi smirked. Naruto turned to the class. "I have some business to attend to. Please excuse me." Naruto left the classroom. He reached the academy rooftop where a figure was waiting for him. "Did you just wake up?" Naruto asked, standing next to the sitting figure. "I get so tired during the afternoons," replied a drowsy Evangeline. Naruto smirked and helped her up. "So did you tell him?" "He's been acting like I thought he would," Naruto asked. Eva smirked and placed a hand on Naruto's cheek. "What are you up to?" she asked with sly smirk. "Giving your own brother up so easily. You know he won't be able to find a partner by the next full moon." Naruto smiled. "He'll find one because I thrust him to. Although it is kind of obvious that he won't be able to beat you, yet. I'll just have to level the playing field." Before Eva could reply she froze. "I feel something coming," she said, turning to the sky. "Someone has broken the barrier and entered the school district. There's no helping it. I'll go investigate." Eva began to turn when Naruto smirked and crossed his arms. "I didn't know you cared," Naruto taunted, causing the girl to pause. "Shut up," Eva blushed as she began to walk away. Naruto shrugged before following. "That's 2-1 and we're in the lead," Kyuubi said with his own smirk. Neji and Naruto were walking through the countryside when Neji ran off in a different direction. Naruto followed in interest until they reached a small trap. "Brother, I found an Ermin," Neji exclaimed, holding out the little creature. Naruto walked up to him and examined the animal. He examined the trap. "Why is it in a trap?" Naruto asked with suspicion. Neji ignored Naruto and healed the creature's wound. "Thank you bro," the Ermin said with a sigh of relief. Naruto frowned and grabbed the creature in a flash. "Hey, let go of me," it exclaimed. Naruto raised an eyebrow at the creature. "It looks tasty," Kyuubi growled. "What's your name?" Naruto asked. "Albert Chamomile," the creature responded in fright as it stared up at Naruto. Naruto gave the creature a gentle smile and handed him over to Neji. "You're lucky my brother is a kind person." Naruto watched as Neji released the creature into the bushes. As it ran away, a village mage ran up to them. "Hey, who let the pervert escape?" the man asked in distress. Naruto palmed his forehead and looked at Neji, who was smiling sheepishly. Chamo watched from the bushes as Neji and Naruto made up a lie about how the creature escaped. "Those two saved my life," he thought. "I owe them big time." Chamo turned to walk away and gave a devious smirk. "Now where are the ladies? What are you doing here?" Naruto asked, picking Chamo up by the tail. He and Eva had followed the magic signature and found the source. A white ermine that Naruto quickly recognized. "Long time no see bro," Chamo greeted. "That rat of all things. I still want to eat him," Kyuubi growled. Naruto smiled and put Chamo on his shoulder. Eva watched with a frown. "Why is that rat here?" she asked in an annoyed tone. "Does it belong to you?" Chamo was about to respond when he felt Eva's glare. "I'll stay quiet for my own safety," Chamo thought. Chamo actually belongs to Neji. "It's a long story. Why are you here?" Naruto asked, turning to the ermine. "I heard that little bro was here and wanted to help him," Chamo replied. Naruto smirked and put the creature down. "Do what you wish," he said, "but don't get in trouble. I know how you are." Chamo saluted and ran away. "Later bro," he exclaimed. Naruto turned to Eva, who crossed her arms. "That was a waste of time," she said, crossing her arms. "I thought I'd at least get to fight something." She began to walk away. "I'm going home, all this excitement is tiring." Eva paused and turned to Naruto. "I wouldn't be displeased if you came to my house sometime." The comment caught Naruto by surprise. "Nice one," Kyuubi chuckled. Naruto nodded. Eva turned away and smiled before walking away. Naruto watched her leave before giving a small smile and walking away. In a dark location. "Tanaka, Ayumi ya back, how'd it go?" "Shut it, relent. Gat ya ass handed ta ya?" The female voice growled. "Tanaka, it's okay. Well, get stronger. Ha, stronga? Ya wimps? Please let a real pro take care of the girl. Relent, calm yourself. You are loud. Galax? Why should satronga then ya? The room began to shake. Suddenly all went quiet. Master? Relent, if your skills are so refined, then I have a mission for you. What is it? Return to that school and capture the one who defeated Tanaka and Ayumi. Is that it? I'll be done by dinner. Laughter echoed out through the room. When the laughter disappeared, the voice spoke again. Galax, go after him in case he fails. Capture that man. Yes, my master. Tanaka, Ayumi, what was this man that defeated you like? I don't know how to explain it, but he reminds me of Zanza. Zanza? Interesting. I was planning on calling him back soon, but until then you two are going to undergo true change. We're ready, master. Alright Neji, let's see what you can do, Naruto said. He and Neji were at the lake near their house. Neji clenched his wand and glared at Naruto. He had been waiting for this day for a long time. Naruto had finally agreed to train him. Here I come, brother. Neji exclaimed. He charged at Naruto. Stop, Naruto commanded. Neji skidded to a halt. What is it? He asked. Naruto shook his head and began to walk away. You're still not ready, he said. We'll try again tomorrow. Neji watched his brother walk away confused and hurt. He didn't get what Naruto meant. Was he too young or was he too weak? Neji wanted to know. He had been looking forward to this day for a long time. Neji returned home with his head down. The next day the same thing happened. He charged at his brother only for Naruto to tell him that he wasn't ready. This happened again for the next 4 days. After the 5th day, Neji confronted Naruto. Brother, why are you telling me that I'm not ready, even though you said you would train me? Neji asked. Naruto looked at his younger brother and frowned. You truly aren't ready, he replied and walked away. Neji ran back to the house in tears. He ran straight into Nikkane, who began to comfort him. Why is brother being so mean? Neji cried. He keeps on telling me that I'm not ready, but he tells me to train with him. Nikkane hugged her cousin and gave him a gentle smile. Neji, she said in a calm tone, do you think you're ready? Neji looked up at her for a moment through tear-stained eyes before nodding. Then you are ready. Don't let anyone else tell you differently. Negi's eyes widened in realization. He gave Nikkane a tight hug before running out the door. Nikkane watched him run out of the house with a smile. Suddenly Naruto phased next to her. He had a small smile as he watched Neji. You have a strange way of teaching things, Nikkane said looking at him. Naruto smirked as he continued to look at Neji. No, not really, but I figured that he would get it eventually. All he needed was a little help. Naruto replied. He faded away leaving Nikkane with a smile. Neji ran towards the lake non-stop. When he reached it he saw Naruto waiting for him. Brother, Neji panted. I don't care what you say, I am ready. Neji held out his wand and charged at Naruto. Naruto smiled and prepared himself. The first thing you had to learn was to believe in yourself, Naruto said, blocking a kick from Neji. As long as you have that you'll always be strong. Naruto waited until class ended and walked up to Setsuna. The rest of the class watched in shock, jealousy, and other dark emotions as Naruto asked her to take a walk with him. After passing all the gossip, Naruto and Setsuna reached an outdoor cafe that Naruto had come to like. The waiter there was a young university student named Nori. Nori had taken quite a liking to Naruto. When she saw Setsuna with Naruto, she quickly walked up to him. Naruto-kun, she said with a hiss, what can I get for you and your date? Naruto chuckled, she's not my date. We just have things to discuss. Naruto wasn't aware that Setsuna looked away with a blush. After hearing this, Nori looked at Setsuna and smiled. What would you like? She went away when the two had placed their orders. After eating, Naruto took a calm tone. I want to see how strong you are, Naruto simply stated. What do you mean? Setsuna asked. Well, I already told you my mission, but it's obvious that either you aren't strong enough to protect your ward or some unforeseen event has happened that you will need help with. Harsh, Kyuubi smirked. If she can't deal with it then too bad, Naruto thought, crossing his arms. Setsuna seemed hurt by Naruto's words. She clenched her fists and looked straight into Naruto's eyes. There is a dojo near here that we could spar in, she replied. Naruto smirked and said, lead the way. They traveled quickly to the dojo. It's empty, Naruto thought out loud. The owner allowed me a key because I come here frequently. Setsuna went into the back room and brought back 2 wooden swords. She tossed one to Naruto and went into a stance. "This is the best way to see my strength, right?" Setsuna asked in a serious tone. Naruto smirked and said, "Alright, let's see your skills." Setsuna charged at Naruto, who stood still. "Stop!" Naruto exclaimed. Setsuna ignored him and delivered an upward slash that barely missed Naruto's left ear. "Feisty," Kyuubi commented. Naruto smirked as he flipped back. Setsuna smirked and said, "The first thing I learned was to never doubt myself." She went into a stance and prepared to strike when Naruto said, "Is that so?" Naruto frowned. "Then why is your doubt rolling off you in waves?" Setsuna flinched. "You're scared," Naruto continued. "Scared that you won't be able to save your ward, scared that you'll fail her, and worst of all scared that you'll have to watch her die in slow agony." Naruto saw Setsuna's grip on her sword tighten. He smirked and rushed her. He pelted her with blow after blow. Setsuna had a hard time keeping up with his unrelenting barrage. He quickly backed her into a corner. Naruto watched her struggle and taunted her, "What will you do now, Sakurazaki? How does it feel to be cornered?" "Zankusen, air-cutting flash," Setsuna exclaimed. Naruto's eyes widened as a circular wave of ki exploded from Setsuna and slashed him. He flew back and hit the opposite wall. He quickly stood up and went into a stance only to watch as his sword shattered into pieces. "Not bad," Kyuubi smirked. "Not bad at all," Naruto smirked, "but there's more than one way to fight." Naruto went into a crouched stance and waited for Setsuna. She quickly shook off her fright and charged at Naruto. "Are you sure she'll be a good partner?" Neji asked Chamo. Neji was walking through the academy halls with Chamo on his shoulder. The Ermin smirked and said, "Trust me bro, by the time we're done you'll have passed Naruto bro's test. We have to find you a strong partner because the stronger they are, the stronger you'll be. So we should find out as much about these girls as we can." Neji nodded and walked into his empty classroom. Chamo hopped off his shoulder and began to rummage through the desks. "I really don't feel right doing this," Neji said with worry. "Whoa," Chamo exclaimed, "take a look at this." "What?" Neji exclaimed. Chamo pulled a notebook out from one of the desks. Neji frowned and was about to examine the book when his conscience got the better of him. He shut the book and put it back. "We should get out of here," he said to Chamo. "Yeah," Chamo said with a little disappointment. As Neji walked away from the classroom he couldn't help but have the feeling that there was something about the notebook. "I swore I felt a trace of magic on it," he thought, clenching his staff. Neji was unaware of the figure hidden in the shadows silently watching him. Setsuna fell unconscious into Naruto's arms. Naruto stared at the girl in silence. She had bruises all over her body. "Let's heal her. The last thing we need is people calling us abusers." Naruto nodded and used the life to heal her. Naruto looked outside. Night had fallen and they were the only two in the dojo. "She's a strong girl, but if she can't accept herself, she'll end up getting killed," Naruto said out loud. Naruto sat next to Setsuna until she woke up. "Are you well?" he asked her. Setsuna nodded, but stayed silent. "What's wrong?" Naruto asked, easily sensing the hesitation. "You healed me?" Setsuna asked. Naruto nodded. He could see where this was going inside. "Do you want me to train you?" Naruto asked. Setsuna looked away, causing Naruto to smile. If you don't mind," she said with a blush. "Alright, we'll train," Naruto said. "Maybe by the time we're done, the hesitation in your heart will disappear." Setsuna blushed even more. Naruto stood up and offered her a hand. "Here, I'll walk you home." Setsuna shook her head and stood up. "I'll be fine," she replied. She walked to the door and turned to Naruto. "Good night, Naruto-sensei," she said with a bow. Naruto watched her walk out of the dojo and smiled. "She's a strong girl," Kyuubi said in a gentle tone. Naruto nodded in agreement. He closed his eyes and sat in silence. The next day, after school was over, Naruto was monitoring the grounds when he sensed a burst of magic. He quickly sensed the signatures as Negi's and phased to the location. "What are you three doing?" Naruto asked in a serious tone when he appeared near them. He walked toward Neji, and Ermin, Asuna, and Nodoka Miyazaki, who was knocked out for some reason. The other three stared at Naruto until he approached. Brother," Neji managed to spurt out. Naruto raised an eyebrow as he looked at the scene. He read the air and grabbed the ermine by its tail. "Chamo, what are you trying to do?" Naruto asked in a strict tone. Albert Chamomile knew a lot about the magic world. He knew who not to anger, and he knew that Naruto Springfield was not to be angered. Before the Ermin could answer, Naruto smirked and dropped him. I really don't want to know. Naruto waved at Neji before walking away. Good luck, brother. He plans on getting a partner before the next full moon, huh? Kyuubi asked. He seems into it. Naruto paused and looked back. Neji and Asuna were arguing while Chamo watched in interest. Naruto frowned at the sight. Something about it didn't sit too well with him. It'll be interesting to see who he chooses, Naruto said out loud, but for his sake I hope it doesn't come back to haunt him. Over the next few days Naruto watched from afar as Neji, Chamo, and strangely Asuna looked for a partner for Neji. Naruto was currently standing on a nearby rooftop watching the three. They were following Chachimaru to see if she had any weaknesses, or so Naruto thought. Sometimes your brother is an idiot. Naruto-sensei, a voice said. Naruto turned to see Setsuna next to him. You said that I should follow them with you, but I don't get the point. I thought we were supposed to train. Naruto smiled and turned back to Neji. Watch them, Setsuna. They'll show you something you're lacking, Naruto replied in a calm tone. They continued to watch until Neji and Asuna confronted Chachimaru. They're about to begin. Naruto smirked. Naruto's eyes widened when Neji activated a partner spell. Why with her of all people? He thought and grimaced. Setsuna was confused. She thought that Naruto-sensei was honorable, but he wanted her to watch Neji and Asuna double-team Chachimaru. There was no honor in that. At first Asuna got the upper hand, leaving Chachimaru open for Negi's spell, but what Neji did surprised her. Just as his 20 arrows of light were about to hit, Neji recalled them, causing them to hit him instead. Naruto, who was watching, turned to Setsuna and gave a small smile. That's what I wanted to show you, he said, pointing a finger at the now arguing Neji and Asuna. That's what you're lacking. You're not an idiot. Setsuna could only reply with, huh? Naruto was currently asleep when Kyuubi woke him. They're here, Kyuubi warned. Naruto sighed and prepared himself. Always in the morning. No respect whatsoever, Naruto thought. They know when people are at their weakest, Kyuubi replied. It was 1 o'clock in the morning when Naruto entered the school grounds. Kyuubi, Naruto thought. I got it. How long? Max distance, Naruto replied. Alright, 10 miles. It'll cost a good amount of magic though, Kyuubi growled, creating a magic barrier. Alright, come on out, Naruto said out loud. A figure landed in front of Naruto. He had wild blue hair and his face was covered by a gray metallic mask that had 2 large eye holes that glowed yellow. The only thing on the mask was red vertical line that cut through the middle. The man wore a black cloak with large sleeves. The cloak was split below the waist, revealing the man's black cargo jeans and combat boots. "Yeah," he said, "so you're the one, huh?" Naruto stared at the man and sighed. "I thought I told those other girls to warn your people." "Those two were weak," the man replied. "I'm in a whole Otha league." "Is that so?" Naruto asked. He brought his hand and covered his face. Naruto willed the magic in the air to surround his face. Naruto condensed the magic and created his avatar's mask. Then I don't have to hold back anything. The figure began to cackle. Alright, let's do this. Naruto disappeared and reappeared in front of the man. Wah? The man exclaimed. Naruto grabbed the man's shoulder and snapped with his free hand. The man was instantly pelted from all sides by the 13 totem pole. When the assault was finished, Naruto used the Chidori and pierced the man's heart. The man fell dead at Naruto's feet. "So you killed Relent?" a voice asked. Naruto turned to face a man with long blue hair wearing the same outfit as the man Naruto had just killed, except his colors were white. Unlike his dead comrade, this man had no mask. He had a clear face with light blue eyes. "And you are?" Naruto asked, releasing his mask. "My name is Galax and my comrade there is Relent," the man answered. Naruto looked at the dead Relent. He shrugged and looked back at Galax. "Looks like I killed your partner, sorry about that," Naruto said. Galax gave a small smile and said, "It is a pity, but I still have a mission." Just as he said that, the world turned black. "What?" Naruto gasped. "I can't sense anything," Kyuubi exclaimed. Suddenly a sharp pain coursed through Naruto's body. He fell to the ground, clutching his sides. "How do we escape this?" Kyuubi asked in pain. The pain subsided and Naruto tried to stand, only to fall back down. The darkness disappeared and Galax stood over Naruto. "That went as planned," Galax said out loud. "No one can beat me," a voice said. The man named Relent stood up void of all injury and walked over to the body of Naruto. He cast a spell that bounded Naruto with invisible ropes. Relent picked him up and turned to Galax. Let's get back. I wanna rub it in those two girls' faces. Galax shook his head. Why do you enjoy that so much? The two turned and began to walk away. Naruto watched from afar as they walked away. Those two can't tell that that's a shadow clone. Kyuubi jested. I haven't used the technique in a while, but it's worked out well, Naruto replied with a smirk. Time for a hunt, Kyuubi growled. Naruto nodded and began to follow.
That's all for now. If you want to see next part, then please like this video and subscribe my channel. Thank you.